Fade in.
What's going on, guys? We're here. We're live. Hashtag fade in. Kathleen Kennedy, just really one for words. A great public speaker, a great hero, an inspirational leader to the women of Hollywood when she's not busy firing them for standing up and speaking their minds. Jeremy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I know it's the gaming podcast and we will talk gaming, but I am very excited for the Gina Carano interview that we will be releasing tomorrow on the Daily Wire YouTube channel. I can't wait to watch Gina fade in. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I watched that as well this morning. There's a video out there on this channel that's fucking scorching right now. So maybe we'll get some more people in here that aren't usually here. They're gonna be like, why are you talking about games? Talk about Kathleen Kennedy. But yeah, we do have a couple things to talk about. Lethal, how are you doing?
Same old, living rent-free in Yellow Flash's head.
Oh, what happened?
He's been in the chat the whole time trolling.
He's obsessed with me, man. He's my Carol Baskins. He's obsessed with me.
Is the fight about the original Terminator film?
No, I don't know. He just really likes me. It's all good.
I think it's just a statement about Australians.
Oh, fuck Walmart.
Do you guys not have a Walmart there?
I have never seen a Walmart in my life.
What the fuck? That's
Explains
so weird.
a lot about why your country's so
Do you
backwards.
have like a Walmart
Backwards?
equivalent?
The photos I've seen of your Walmart, you're going to talk about backwards? You got fucking fat ladies taking shits in broad daylight on aisle 4.
There are literally PSAs on Australian television about telling people not to sniff petrol from a can because it might be bad for you. That's how dumb the people of Australia are. They need PSAs on the televisions to say, don't sniff gas.
Yeah,
I've talked to you about that situation. You know damn well what you just said is not entirely false, but you know it's not entirely correct either. You're just taking a shot at ignorant Americans because they're actually going to believe you.
Yeah, Ryan, there's lots of fun things that are bad for you.
Yeah.
There's also PSAs for Australians not laying in the road. Because if you sleep in the road, you might get hit by a car.
That's not what the PSA is. The PSA is don't stop for people laying in the road, because if you stop for the people laying in the road, you're going to have You ever seen that movie Mad Max?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that like that scene in the first Last of Us game?
Yes.
I do think Walmart could class up the Aussies a little bit. You guys really need a Walmart at this point. I think it's and unlike the Dollar General, I mean, you don't have to dress up fancy for Walmart. So it's pretty impressive. I think you guys need one for sure. I can't believe you've never seen a Walmart. That's so weird. I didn't know people like that existed.
I've never seen a Walmart and I've never seen snow.
Is there no like Walmart equivalent in Australia? Like a big department store?
We have garbage dumps.
No, it's probably called like Okie Days or something weird like that. Something stupid. But
we have a place called Canadian Tire that's sort of more like hardware, home improvement focused. It's kind of like a cross between a Walmart and a Home Depot. It's sort of neither, but both in a way. But yeah. We also have Walmart though. So.
Well, speaking of Walmart, how are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing okay. You know, I got a new Zero Foxtrot shirt. It's an Imperial pilot. Just
oh,
in time
nice.
for Star Wars to be pissing everybody off. So yeah, I'm happy I pre-ordered this 3 months ago. But,
I pre-ordered this when I was excited about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but no, this whole week, X-Ray Girl and I have just been dealing with stuff for the home that we bought. So we're gonna be moving in 3 months, and you know, lots of stuff to do when you buy a house. So
yep.
I've been trying to find contractors and get things that we might need, and you know, trying to not go into crippling debt at the same time, I suppose.
Yeah, that's just life.
Yeah.
But speaking of Yellow Flash, here's a $5 super chat. Lethal Lightning, why are you always late to the stream? You're holding everyone up. It's very unprofessional behavior, sir.
Lethal?
You're going to talk to me about unprofessional when your name is a ripoff from a DC Comics character?
Isn't your name a ripoff of some stupid anime character?
It's a ripoff of Final Fantasy, you dumb fuck.
That's what I said, some anime character.
It's a female protagonist of a Final Fantasy trilogy in the PlayStation 3 generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone with culture.
WZRBS for $5. Ryan has ghosted me since I challenged him to naked Greek wrestling. Ryan is a coward. I don't even know who, to quote Thanos, I don't even know who you are. You have super chatted me a couple strange things, but I don't even remember the challenge to naked Greek wrestling. Is this Blue-Eyed Scorpio's alt? Maybe. Jean-Sebastian Dalcourt for Canadian $5. Jeremy wants Luke Skywalker to be recast because Hamill is mean to Trump. Let's all remember that when he's preaching about cancel culture. I
love that this loser had to pay money to get me to acknowledge his existence. I saw them comment earlier on a video. Yeah, I've only been supportive of Mark Hamill for the past 4 years, even though he has had a severe case of TDS consistently. And when I made the point that I want him to be recast, it's because Mark Hamill can't play Luke Skywalker in the era that The Mandalorian is taking place in, you dumb fuck. So I simply said, I'm so tired of Mark Hamill's bullshit, and I'm okay moving on from him because Sebastian Stan has been rumored. That's what I said. I know you're not intelligent enough to understand what I said, but that's what I said. Mark Hamill has had a severe case of TDS for over 4 years. He has said horrible shit, and it finally crossed the line when he posted those pictures of Melania Trump. Now, I hold Lucasfilm to the standard that they have created as a company. I even said I personally wouldn't fire Christina Ariel for her racist shit if it was my decision. But when Lucasfilm creates a standard where they're going to hold people accountable for their social media posts, then by the Lucasfilm standard, Mark Hamill should be fired. If you can't understand that I'm pointing out their hypocrisy, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Go fuck yourself. And I will not respond to you unless you then super chat $10. Nothing less. If you super chat $9.99, we will ignore you. $10 next time. And then if you want to get another response, it'll be $20. That's how unimportant you are. You have to pay more money to talk to me. That's how much of a loser you are. Fuck you.
I'll talk to you for free.
I will just say that it's very Canadian of you to pay $5 to have a man fuck you in the ass. So congratulations, Jean Sebastian, whatever your name is.
You don't get a reach around for that price, though.
Yeah. Ryan begs for Jeremy's special sauce for £2. See, Ryan, I'll abuse you here too. Well, thank you. As long as it's not on my channel, heaven forbid you come to my channel ever. But thank you. Dark Side Droids for $5. I gotta park my moose is my it says I gotta park my moose is my hoose next to the goose. Mark, probably.
I mean, my hoose doesn't have a moose yet. I'll probably have a goose though. There's lots of gooses here.
They're called geese.
Yeah, plural mooses, meese.
Yellow Flash 2. Thank you, Darkside Droids. Yellow Flash 2 for $2. Lol. At least I didn't pick a female character with the lightning.
That's because he prefers the company of men.
But he doesn't.
There's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But he doesn't like to be called a woman. I think that's more what it's like. Like, if I was to choose a nickname, if I was going to do like an online personality, I probably wouldn't call myself Serena Williams or something.
That's really not even the same comparison.
I wouldn't call myself Lara Croft.
That's not even the same comparison.
Oh, I wouldn't call myself Aloy.
I reckon you could put some words around Aloy and make that work.
I probably could. I could transition. I could transition that in a way.
You can play basketball with the teenage girls.
RS for $5. KK can fade the fuck out, and I'll be buying Diablo 2 Resurrected. Fuck Disney. Fuck Lucasfilm. Hail chat. Hail GNG. Thank you, RS. We appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Fade in.
We gotta have that as a permanent. What am I trying to say? It's gonna happen all the time here.
Fade in.
Disney's Curse, Gina's Rebellion for $2 says we need to keep fighting and not let this go. Yeah, I don't think anyone is gonna let it go, to be honest with you. I think we're gonna keep talking about it. We're gonna they want us to stop. There is going to be shit out there. You're gonna see articles. You're gonna see hit pieces. I saw one today.
Yep.
Basically just attacking Gina Carano's family because they're rich. It was literally just an article that was like Gina Carano comes from a family who's very is very involved in Las Vegas casinos and worth $750 million. That was the article. Cool. Like, that was the article. It was just about that, trying to shame them in some way for being wealthy. Mm-hmm. You're going to see a lot more. That's how she got into the
UFC and won all those fights.
What actually is because they didn't want her to do it. They even
That's
tried
what she said in the interview.
They tried to influence the commission to not let her fight because they didn't want her doing that. Funnily enough.
Wasn't she like 7-1 or something like that in her 8 fights? I forget her exact stats, but I think
she lost one. She lost to Chris Cyborg, the fucking man. So.
Well, I mean, come on, it's hard to beat a cyborg,
especially one on steroids.
Oh God, yeah, good one, Mark. Good one. All right. But speaking of that, RS did mention Diablo 2 Resurrected. So BlizzConline was yesterday. I think the last time a lot of us probably remember a BlizzCon or a big Blizzard announcement, they were asking us, "What, you don't have phones?
Don't you guys have phones?"
Yeah, but I do have my phone here, and I still didn't watch BlizzConline because there's not really too much that Blizzard's doing right now that I'm wholly invested in. They announced some WoW expansions for both World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft Classic. Again, I know a lot of people are still playing those. I don't know if any of us do, though. Mark, do you? When's the last time you played WoW?
2007, 2006. It was when I broke up with my high school girlfriend. I played WoW for 3 months and then realized in those 3 months I spoke to no women, so I stopped playing WoW.
Oh, you didn't? Did you speak to them like online or anything?
No. I was just, every time my friends wanted to go out, I'm just like, nah, I'm good, and I would just stay home and play World of Warcraft. And I was in my last year of university and was like, I really haven't gone out or like seen a girl in the last few months because I've just been playing WoW like every night, and I should probably start communicating with humans again. So I stopped.
Don't you regret that?
I don't know. Like, I do miss WoW a little bit, I suppose. It was a lot of fun. That's why I was playing it so much. But I found that I was playing it to the point that it was impacting my social life. So I was like, no, I should not.
Well,
It's sort of why I don't play MMOs in general. Like, they become your life in a way that I guess is good if you want a game that will be the only game you need to play. But I just don't really think it's for me.
That's kind of where I am with Star Wars: The Old Republic. I will get into it for a little bit, and then I'll drop it for a while, just because it is, you do have to commit a lot of time to it if you are doing it. So, but I did want to, I know probably not everyone's even seen the trailer, so why don't we go ahead and watch the trailer for what everyone's talking about, Diablo 2 Resurrected. The Diablo 2 remake / remaster is true, so let's see what they showed everybody yesterday.
Also worth noting, Diablo 2 Remastered is probably the only thing I've wanted from Blizzard in like the last 10 years. It's not easy to beat.
I don't hear any sound.
Is there supposed to be sound?
God damn it. I was wondering why Mark was fucking talking.
Well, I mean...
He's trying to fill in the gap.
Yeah.
We were just going to sit and silently watch the trailer?
Well, that's why I didn't understand why you were talking, because I could hear everything.
Now you know what I seek, Marius. Were these the demons from... Don't do it! It seems good. I'm not acceptable. Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror.
Oh, it's been 20 years.
It may yet be your greatest moment.
Oof.
Oh, no shit.
And console.
With cross progression too, which means you can bounce back and forth between versions. Which is pretty sweet, especially if by consoles, if they mean Switch also. That would be pretty nice when you play it on the go.
Not even death can save you from me.
You know what? I've never played a Diablo game in my life, but that looked fucking awesome.
It does look pretty cool. I've never been a Diablo person.
2 was my favorite one for sure. I played through all of it with the expansions with both a paladin and a druid. And
Will I jump into that game? I have no idea what's going on because I've never played number 1.
yeah, no,
You can
it's
jump.
fine.
You can
The
like
first
jump into
one-
Diablo 3 right now if you wanted to and just play it. Like
The first one you play as one of 3 classes. You kill Diablo and you get his like the crystal that was in his head, and that's really all you need to know. That character got a crystal out of Diablo's head. You're set up for the story of Diablo 2.
Spoilers.
Okay.
I didn't spoil it. I spoiled Diablo 1.
I'm messing with you.
Oh, and I think what that trailer shows to everybody is this is just a straight like remaster. You know what I mean? You know, they were showing scenes from the original game and then blew it up to see what it looks like now. And hopefully that is exactly what it is, just a straight remaster, which is what a lot of people want from these games. You know what I mean? Have the same exact story that it had before. You know, fine tune the mechanics and all of these things, but they want to play that game again, just better. What they don't want is what's happening with Mass Effect when they're changing all these things around, making it more PC for today's environment, all this garbage. And what that looked like to me was that they do truly intend to do a straight remake now, or sorry, a remaster as opposed to a reimagining or a remake, which I think is a good thing.
They are changing some of the character designs. Because basically the way they're doing it, they're actually not fine-tuning the mechanics at all. What they're doing is overhauling the visuals with like new 3D graphics, kind of more similar in style, it looks like, to Diablo 4, or like the stuff they've shown in Diablo 4. But the base code of the game is still Diablo 2. So all of the logic and mechanics should play exactly like the original version of Diablo 2. It'll just look nicer. I think there's already been some controversy though about them like making the I think it's one of the classes, one of the female characters, they made her look like really manly because they are like redoing the art obviously if they're moving it from pixel based to 3D, but I don't know. I only saw one post about it on Twitter, so I don't know that it's an outrage or anything, but I did see something.
We'll get there, don't worry. Let's look. Hold on. Now that you said that, Mark, let's look. Hold on.
Redesign female character Diablo 2, I guess, search. I don't know.
This woman looks disgusting.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Oh, it's the one on the far left, the Amazon.
That looks fucking normal to me.
I had to remember which character class
The
it was.
face
The
looks
is what
ugly.
people were complaining about.
The face looks
All
ugly,
the faces look shit.
but her tits are out, so it's whatever.
I think all the faces look shit, to be honest with you. But I wasn't. looking at the face.
Kratos looks good.
That's the barbarian. Yeah. Never played as a barbarian. I don't know.
But
Looks like the basketball player, that female basketball player.
Paladin? That's Paladin. That was probably my favorite class.
Wait,
Paladin's really good in the Druid, which is the one.
wait, are you saying this is the person you thought Jeremy was referring to?
Well, isn't that the one that you had your mouse around?
Right. That's not what he was talking about when he said basketball player. Why did you think that?
Well, it's the one that your mouse was pointing at when Jeremy was, so like I don't know, like
interesting.
Then who were you talking about? The Amazon? Then? I guess I don't know.
Well, we were talking about a meme that was going around Twitter of a 50-year-old woman coming back to college to play with the female college
A 6'6",
players.
50-year-old woman, former military soldier.
Well,
Yeah.
So me thinking you were talking about one of the male characters on screen was I still don't get why.
Wait,
He was black, Mark.
Oh, I didn't even.
He was black, and you thought he was the basketball player.
No, it was because you were pointing at him, Ryan. You have the cursor.
Okay.
Also, I don't keep up with sports news. I have no idea what the person you're talking about looks like.
It's a lot of explaining. But anyway, speaking of video games, yeah, so it does look like they're just truly intending to give people a remaster, which is what people want, as opposed to all this other stuff. And I'm sure they're going to rake in a shit ton of money just from putting this out and not trying to do anything else to it. But we did learn a little bit about Diablo 4. Mark, could you tell us what they revealed about Diablo 4? I think they did the rogue, right?
The only thing I saw, was a trailer for the rogue class character. It looks pretty good, but I don't think it looks more impressive than Diablo 2 Remastered. I mean, again, that might just be because I'm a big fan of Diablo 2, and I like Diablo 3, especially like since they kind of fixed all the weird things about it that it launched with. But I think Diablo 2 is a better game. Sorry, Harley just sneezed. I think Diablo 2 is a better game. So 4 kind of looks to me like more of 3, but with sort of 2's art style. Like it seemed like they toned down the cartooniness and made it a bit more muted looking. But other than that, I don't know. It just kind of looks like more Diablo 3. But
yeah. And I see Echo Base Network saying they're Diablo 4 open world.
Aren't they all kind of open world? Like then,
I mean,
you can go wherever you want. Like, I mean,
I get there are I suppose there are boundaries. It doesn't seem like it's very big, at least for Diablo 3. Like walking around, like I mean, there's
areas, but they're procedurally generated, so you just kind of like wander around and explore the area. You can sort of
uncover the darkness.
Yeah, you just have to unlock. I mean, I don't see the difference. Hey, Jojo, stop it. I don't see the difference between unlocking portals in Diablo that kind of give you access to more of the world that you can then jump back to your town and go to, or like finding towers in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, I mean, it's sort of the same thing, just...
I guess like functionality, I suppose it is, but as far as the feeling, it's much different.
Yeah.
It's much different to like look at your map and see this thing and like realize that you can literally like ride there on a horse or whatever it may be, than just taking portals to get to different part. You know, so I get what they're saying.
You have to walk to the portal in order to take it like back to where you were. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I think I would have to see how 4 is actually structured to know what open world for a Diablo game means. Like,
yeah,
you know,
true. But Lethal, you gonna look into this?
I'll look into it. I mean, for me, it depends when it comes out. I really don't want to buy any more games until I get a PS5. But fuck knows when that's going to happen. They're still going for 3 times the price.
Well, I don't think that I don't even know when Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out. Honestly, I didn't even check that. But I will say, let's see, coming in 2021. So
it's coming out on Switch, right? There you go. That's the game changer, right?
Diablo 3 is on Switch.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that this is coming out on Switch. I'm trying to sell Lethal on a Switch.
He's been trying to sell me on a Switch for like a year.
I thought you were saying a Diablo
Lethal,
game coming
on the Switch?
to Switch was the game changer. I'm like, but there is a Diablo game on Switch.
Well, no, Lethal just turned 16, so he's out of the target age bracket for Switch.
Yeah, that's right. See, my mum will let me make my own decisions now. Bitch.
Yeah.
And yeah, Bashi Washi says try Path of Exile. Path of Exile is a free-to-play game. I think it's only on PC. I don't think there's a console.
I've got it on PS4, but I've never played it.
Oh, okay. So then I guess it's on
free.
consoles. But it was made by a bunch of the people who made Diablo 2 that quit Blizzard and just went to go make their own game.
You absolutely can get a fuck Naughty Dog, because fuck Naughty Dog. Absolutely.
That's right. Thank you, D-Bot. All right, we got a couple super chats. Just Infinity for $10. Fade in. I'm expecting Star Wars Hunters to be another Fortnite. Anyone else? We're going to talk about that when we get to the Nintendo Direct portion. There was a new Star Wars game announced that looks like it's made for the Nintendo Switch. It's called Star Wars Hunters. So we'll play the little trailer when we get to it. That's kind of the feeling I get, but it was just really they didn't really show any gameplay. They just showed a little snippet of what it might feel like. So
no, but it's taking place between episode what? So it's basically the Mandalorian time frame, right? Is that what it is?
It could be anywhere post Return of the Jedi. So
yeah, so I have no interest in it.
For £2, Az tickles Gary's sweat sack. With a picture of Az. Thank you. Gina's interview inspired good people to stand up.
Yeah, her interview is amazing. I can't wait for everybody to see it. So it's going to blow people away.
Absolutely. And that is available if you're a Daily Wire member. You can go watch it right now. It's going to be released publicly either on Ben Shapiro's YouTube or maybe the Daily Wire YouTube in general tomorrow at some point. So everybody can watch it. But I went over there and watched it because I'm a Daily Wire member. Christoph, the Polish guy, for $25. Jeremy, is that Castlevania in the back. Great
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, Lord of Shadow. It's great.
I like how it literally, as he says that, you can see like the Castlevania logo. Like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like that one kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, don't you, Mark?
The Lord of Shadow series is it's out of the canon of the rest of them. So the 3 Lords of Shadows games, Lords of Shadow 1, oh crap, I forget what the second one was. The one that was on 3DS, but they eventually ported it to the other consoles as well. And Lords of Shadows 2 are sort of their own trilogy. And the rest of the Castlevania timeline is sort of all one thing.
I still prefer the 2D.
First
go ahead.
Lord of Shadows.
That's the only one I played. Yeah,
though, and I liked it quite a bit. I heard the second one's terrible.
I still prefer the 2D Castlevania games to these, the 3D.
Too.
But yeah, Castlevania is just a great series overall, and everybody's got different Castlevanias that's their favorite. I think the most popular is Symphony of the Night.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's easily the most popular.
That is the best one.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Castlevania is a great series.
I strongly recommend the Bloodstained series too. There's 3 games in it now: Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 1 and 2, which are sort of more 8-bit style Castlevania, like original Nintendo style, and then Ritual of the Night, which is basically a full-blown like Symphony of the Night spiritual successor, made by the creator of Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, there you go. It is Castlevania, Christoph. Cormoran for Australian $2. Diablo 2 Reforged looks good, but where's Chun-Li?
Chun-Li will be part of the DLC.
Yeah, Lethal, could you tell us where Chun-Li is?
Not in the Mortal Kombat movie, unfortunately. For reasons.
because of misogyny. That's why.
And it's a joke. It's a satire joke.
See, the thing is, they posted a correction though. Like that's why I was like, are they serious? And also, Jezebel isn't a. They're not a satire site, are they?
No,
they stepped in it, and I even saw some IGN shills in the comments trying to play into the joke too, like, oh yeah, and spelling Mortal Kombat the wrong way and saying all these things, just trying to add to it, and it's like, guys, y'all fucked up.
Yeah, just take the L. It wouldn't have become a thing if you just took the L. It only became a thing because you kept trying to fucking bury it and hide the fact that you fucked up.
Did I send you guys the Chun-Li character poster? Like, they released the Mortal
Kombat one
Kombat
Boss Logic made?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, Boss Logic made that? I just saw that on Twitter and thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what they were thinking with that, man. Like,
that was funny.
Do you know what's even more fascinating about that? Is the fact that got through everybody. Like, she would have written that up, put it through to be edited, whatever. It gets the final go ahead. Either no one even bothered to look at it, or maybe they actually have no idea.
That's the argument for it being satire, that people are like, yeah, there's no way that nobody that works at Jezebel in the chain of command would have not known that Chun-Li is a Street Fighter character and been like, hey, don't print this. So... But I don't know. Like, I think that, like, if they didn't post the correction, I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's definitely satire. But they posted a correction, so I was like, maybe not.
Yeah,
then?
just fucked up. Take the L, move on. Or maybe post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Well, what it's really going to be, right, is it's just going to be used as a platform for these fucking female journalists to talk about how people are just being attacked for being fake geek girls and people are gatekeeping. And this is obvious satire, but the gamers can't handle it. That's what this is going to turn into from these fucking insufferable cunts. We all know that it's a process. Yep. It's the only way they can stay relevant.
Well, it's going to stay funny, though. Like, I hope they do it because it'll be funny.
Yeah, I mean, gaming journalism is it's not about games. It's about activism, just like everything else in the media. These big sites. I mean, IGN.
Jezebel's not a gaming site, though. I think it's just like a feminist news site, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know specifically what they're listed at, but if you're talking about the overall media, and like I said, Brian Altano, is that his name? What's his name?
Yeah, from IGN.
He's still with IGN, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, because I saw him in the comments in there, like playing into their thing. Like he was misspelling Mortal Kombat, and he was trying his best to spin it. You know what I mean? And it's just like none of them actually care about these things. You go back to IGN again. I used to like IGN a lot back in the day. IGN is not about video games anymore. it has not, like, don't get me wrong. Yes, they cover video games, but they cover video games from an activist standpoint. You know, they would never hire anyone like me at IGN these days. Not even close. Not that I would ever want to work there. But if you just look at all of it, it's all the same now. Whether it's mainstream media, whether it's gaming outlets, whether it's sports outlets, it's all activism. All of it. It's crazy. They don't care about this stuff.
Yeah, it just people that went to college and got indoctrinated and are pretending to care about this thing. That's all it is.
But it's fun to make fun of them, though. It is.
Oh yeah, it's fun to make fun of everyone, especially Canadian people that send super chats to get shit on.
Hey, leave the Canadians alone. We're very polite people. But in the group chat, I just posted a picture of the Diablo Amazon that was sent to me by, I don't want to get the name wrong though. Someone sent it to me on Minds. People are interacting with me on Minds, everybody.
I should really post there more.
That kind of looks like a young version of Trump, to be honest with you.
Here.
Wasn't my reaction, but sure. Ravitor R4VI4TOR is who sent that to me. So thank you.
I mean, the face doesn't look great, but I mean, it's obviously a feminine body type, you know. So
I agree. I don't think any of their faces looked good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's just how like sensitive we are right now to all this shit because of what people are trying to do to try to desexualize any female characters. Yeah, these types of things are normal with what we have going on in the video game industry. So people are always going to be hypersensitive to it.
That's true. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's hypersensitive. At the same time, you know, sometimes I myself find just got to take a step back.
Yeah. Essen says Ryan's basically saying he would paper bag it and be good. Yeah, essentially. There you go. Ryan Kane for $2. Mark's an ism towards basketball players, I see.
I don't really know any of them. I don't watch basketball. I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay. Why not?
Because I'm not going to pretend to be a fake basketball fan. Like I just don't. I'm going to take the L.
Just never interested in you, huh?
I did not know who you were talking. No, I'm terrible at it.
Oh, well, that's not a surprise, I guess. Ryan begs for Jeremy's special sauce for £2. What did women do in the 50s again, Ryan's? Why do you pluralize my name? What did women do in the 50s? Why is Jeremy laughing? He hears me say this every week.
No, I'm laughing at them pluralizing your name. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. But listen, I've been hearing a lot from females who say how bad it was back in the day and how we're really just trying to get our rights and we've come so far. Listen, I don't think that life was all that bad for women in the 50s and 60s, to be quite honest. All you had to do was cook and get fucked. I would take that. I would take that living right now if I could do that for the rest of my life. But for some reason, that's very oppressive.
Someone said on Friday Night Tights, you said that last night. They said they say, Ryan, I know a guy named Bubba that can make your dreams come true.
Yeah. Hey, what does he like to eat? I don't know.
I told X-Ray Girl about your catchphrase about life for women in the 50s, and she's just like, that sounds all right. It's like, oh god.
What?
I made more money.
That's basically her saying, hey, I'm okay with that, Mark. Get on that.
We would require 2 incomes in order to live. The Canadian military does not pay that well.
Wow,
it's not bad. I'm not really complaining about my income, but it's
really quick. I just want everyone to know this is an official statement on behalf of Geeks and Gamers, and we do take these things very seriously when people that represent our brand say offensive things. We want you to know that we hear you. We hear you. And I do apologize in advance for you being little bitches. But we act accordingly and we act swiftly. And upon me hearing the news that Ryan said some offensive things, we immediately promoted him and gave him more money. So, thank you all and have a great day. Just wanted to acknowledge that.
No, thank you, Jeremy. I do what I can.
The best part about that is how Jeremy's mic just goes totally shit when he's.
It's
screen
so
sharing.
aggravating.
Do you
It's
still have
so-
the auto gain on?
It's so aggravating.
Because if you
It's
have
only
the
when you
auto gain
screen
on, the
share.
problem is if you move closer or further away from your mic, it fucks it up.
It's not it.
No.
It's crackling. So it's
Yeah.
something else. I don't know what the
The
fuck
gain
that shit
being
is.
too high is usually what makes it crackle.
But
I
he's
think
not
when he
any
screen
louder
shares,
or
though.
anything. It's only when he screen shares.
It's only when I screen share.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Christoph's the Polish guy for $25. Are any of you familiar with Angry Video Game Nerd? It seems like he also went full SJW.
I
Really?
heard the name. Let me
No,
quickly-
I mean, I'm
He's
familiar
like a
with him.
super famous gaming YouTuber. He was like
Yeah,
the first guy to
he's
kind of,
he's like YouTube royalty at this.
guys like Angry Joe wouldn't exist if Angry Video Game Nerd wasn't around. And I've never really been a huge fan. I don't think he's bad.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah,
a
I
few
know
of
this
his
dude.
videos, but like James Rolfe, I think is the guy's name.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
watch him.
haven't
I
been
don't.
following him. So
I don't
know.
watch him, but for me to, it's hard for me to believe he went SJW because the only thing I really remember of him is when he made that video back in when Ghostbusters 2016 came out, basically saying he wasn't going to go watch it, and it kind of went viral, and he got a lot of hate. But he was just like, he had valid reasons for why he didn't want to support that movie. But I don't know. I don't watch the guy, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah,
Same here. I just don't follow him. I don't have anything against him. The videos I've seen of his are good. So, but they never like clicked with me to the point that I'm like, I need to sub and watch every one of this guy's videos.
I'm not a big fit. Like if people are just going to be angry all the time, I'm really just not interested in that kind of content.
Oh, the fucking irony.
I'm just kidding. But no, I've never watched too much Angry Video Game Nerd, but I'll look into it, I guess. I don't know what he said.
He did have Macaulay Culkin on about a year ago to play the Home Alone video games, which is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Seeing
That
Macaulay
dude's fucking
Culkin play
40 now.
I
Red
know.
Letter Media had Macaulay Culkin on too. I think
Did they?
I think Macaulay Culkin likes YouTube. Like that's the math I'm doing on that one. He just like has YouTubers he likes and then calls them up. It's like, hey, I'm the Home Alone kid. Want me to do a guest spot on your channel?
Well, Red
We'll have
Letter
him
Media,
on.
they've had, fucking bitches like Patton Oswalt on the channel. They've had a couple people, like that kind of level of celebrity, I suppose, on there. They're pretty big. Kevin Feige follows one of them on. Doesn't Kevin Feige follow Jay Bowman on Twitter?
No idea, man.
I'm
Why
pretty
the
sure.
fuck would we know that?
Why wouldn't you? I know it.
I didn't even know Kevin Feige had
You
a Twitter.
asked.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
You didn't know it. You thought it might be the case.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I was looking for confirmation. I'm like 90 to 95% sure that's true. I was looking to see if any of you guys had also known that.
All right, let's just roll with it. He follows him.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. That's the
Confirmed.
kind of reporting that those are Mark standards. 90 to 95% is basically confirmed.
Confirmed.
So, look at him. What's he gonna do now?
Fuck that dog.
Sorry, I'm
He's angry.
wrangling a puppy.
Joe Musashi, your thoughts on Sasha Calais, who's Latina, has been casted for Supergirl for the Flash film. She would be better as Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz.
I agree with that bottom part. She'd be a great Jessica Cruz. She's like a spitting image of her. But in all honesty, I don't really know just yet. I've never seen her in anything. Apparently, she's just done soap opera dramas, and that's about it. But I think I've seen like a fan thing where they dyed her hair blonde, and it looked pretty fucking good, man. So
gonna
for me,
do
it's a
the-
very wait and see situation.
I'm gonna do the
don't wanna
Jessica
jump the
Alba
gun.
Invisible Woman thing, where take,
I don't
take
wanna
a
jump-
beautiful Latina woman and then make her blonde and just be like, yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
works. I don't want
watching
to jump the
this
gun
one.
just yet, but I think The Flash is a really weird movie to introduce Supergirl. But whatever.
Well, they're doing Flashpoint though, aren't they? So isn't it like
kind of, but yeah,
alternate
it's a
timeline versions of
Flashpoint.
anyone? Like,
Sure, but it's a Flashpoint movie without Aquaman or Wonder Woman or Cyborg. So it's going to be a completely bastardized version of it. However, the casting itself, I've seen like the couple mock-ups of her. She looks like
She looks all right.
She looks like all right. I could believe that. Even if they don't dye her hair blonde, I think it's okay if Supergirl has brunette hair, especially if she's cousins with Superman. I don't have a big deal with that.
I
but-
kind of disagree with you there.
I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. But we should also say that since it's being introduced in Flash, in this Flashpoint, this could be anybody. Like, this could be like, that could be Batman 89's Earths. That could be their Superman, effectively. Could be Supergirl. And he showed that, like, the suit was basically like Henry Cavill's suit.
So again, this is directly tied to the DCEU.
This is the Flash movie.
Yeah, it's Ezra Miller.
So I understand that, but I mean, just like anything else, like Joker wasn't tied to it, but like, are they actually tying it to Snyder's DCEU?
Yeah,
Snyder's DCEU.
Well, that's a difficult question.
Yeah, that's a very difficult question to
ask. The things that came before it, yes. So that's the easiest answer is yes, it is connected to the DCEU. And basically what the premise is going to be is that, Flash is going to probably try to change the past because maybe to change his mom dying, his mom dying, like what happened in Flashpoint. But instead of changing that timeline, he's probably going to go into a different Earth. And he's going to go to Batman 89 Earth, which is where Michael Keaton comes into play. Michael Keaton who has been Batman since Batman 89 and is still Batman now. That's kind of the Earth that he's going to jump to.
So they're playing that card and not doing it for a Batman Beyond movie. Eh?
Well, that could be setting up a Batman Beyond.
Setting up,
Oh, okay. So it is Javier Bardem Morgan playing Thomas Wayne. Jeffrey.
Nah, there's none of that.
There's no confirmation of that yet, but that would be awesome. He's even said he wants to. How
Maggie is the
Warner
Joker.
Brothers? Fuck you, Warner Brothers. Fuck you, Warner Brothers, for not making this happen.
Well,
Why
it's that
the
fucking
fuck,
cunt's Walter's fault, man. I mean, it was all getting back on. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but for the blonde hair, I mean, like, I can easily get past her not having blue eyes. That's very fucking easy for me to get past. How many different Batmen have had different eye colors, for example? But the blonde hair, I think, is pretty important for Supergirl.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Women
change their fucking hair all the time because they're so weird.
I mean, I had this talk with Steph about an hour or so ago, and she raised a good point. If it makes sense, I'm all for it. You know, maybe Kara dyed her hair. You know, if they make it make sense, I'm all for it.
I kind of agree with Lethal, though. I mean, the blonde hair is pretty. Again, it kind of goes into it's a simple thing. It is a very simple thing, but I go back to, I wish I would have stayed with my instincts when I saw Rian Johnson move Kylo Ren's scar in the first trailer for The Last Jedi. You're like, well, it's a simple thing. But if you're willing to change simple things, what else are you willing to do? And it just kind of shows a bigger problem. Like, it is pretty iconic. She's known for that. So if they're going to change that, what else are they going to do? And it seems like,
they haven't changed it. Like, she just got cast like less than 24 hours.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying when you're making an active decision. It's an iconic. Her blonde hair is pretty iconic. So if you're going to make that change, what else are you going to do? So it's a if. And,
that's what I mean before. Don't want to jump the gun either way just yet. It's a very wait and see thing for me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I also think like Kara has not been established in the DCEU yet, so I don't see that as the same thing as them like changing Kylo Ren's scar, because that was like they're contradicting a movie that just happened, and like it's their own movie in their own controlled universe. Whereas, Kara El is Kal-El's cousin. And like she doesn't necessarily need to look exactly like him, and like Henry Cavill's got dark hair anyway, so I don't know. I don't see it as that much of a jump. Like it seems like more of an adaptation argument than
it all depends on what the intent is, right? We could have, when Jason Momoa was cast as Aquaman,
exactly.
Like, wow, that's not Aquaman. He's got blonde hair. He's fucking straight white. And if that could happen, depending on who did it, we would have been like, look at this fucking race bending bullshit. But the reality is that Jason Momoa just kind of embodies what Snyder was kind of thinking about when creating this universe and this Aquaman and these characters. So it all depends on their intent. Which we're not going to see for a while.
I'll give you one more example. I really like Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, and that's pretty fucking far from how Ra's is supposed to be in the comics.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, Nolan made a lot of changes he does not get called out for, because 2 of the 3 movies are widely considered to be fantastic, but he made a lot of changes and took a lot of liberties.
A lot. I mean, they took Ra's al Ghul and made him a fucking white British guy. How much further can you get?
Yeah, but
I really liked him as Raish.
But anyway, that was our DCEU portion of the podcast. We'll see if it
So
comes
we'll
up
get on
again.
to the Terminator stuff next.
Yeah, exactly. I do need to make a video about that though. I can Alice for $5 since we're doing this. I'll channel my inner Ryan and say I believe all women. I believe they're all crazy. Flees the blue hairs. Thank you, I can Alice. I do believe all women are insane as well. Thank you. The Italian Stallion, Mark, your alt for $5. The apparent direction of Lucasfilm makes me dread the Kenobi show. I'm starting to feel like he will be neutered worse than Jon Snow.
It could go either way.
I think it will definitely go the way that people are worried about. I mean, this is Lucasfilm. And we're going to learn a lot more about Lucasfilm as Gina Carano starts speaking out more, but it's a bad company and they have bad intentions for all of these characters. And I have no faith in anything that they're doing. Not one bit of faith after what they did to Gina Carano. So I have no excitement and no belief in them to do anything other than fuck this up.
Yeah, I think that what we're going to see is them playing heavily on. Is that dog sleeping?
No, she likes lying on her back.
No, I think what we're going to see is them relying heavily on nostalgia bait with Tatooine and this whole rematch between Obi-Wan and Anakin. If they just make it like in the minds of the spiritual route, like something weird like this. Listen, they're just bringing Anakin in for the money, the same way they used a lot of these characters for Obi-Wan. I think that
Luke and
Mando,
really,
yeah, it's the same way they use him for Mando. I think that you're going to see, Obi-Wan get taught his place by powerful women on Tatooine. Like, I think that's going to happen. I think Ewan McGregor is going to be all about it, just like he was for Black Mask.
Is going to be like.
It's just like, look at WandaVision. Started out, seemed like there was some potential there. I haven't either. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, but we all saw the direction it was going, even when it wasn't in your face, with the women characters just being overpowering and, like just arrogant to the male characters, and all the male characters are evil. This is Lucasfilm. This is Disney.
I don't know that I agree with that at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Vision is essentially the protagonist of the show, and
he's also an idiot. He hasn't done shit for the past 2 episodes. Fucking wander around like a cuck.
He's got his memory.
No, he's actively trying to like escape, or at least again, I haven't seen the newest episode, but spoilers for last week's episode of WandaVision. He's like actively trying to figure out what Wanda's up to, and then like forced himself out of her little like pocket dimension that almost killed him. Like trying to say save the people. Like
look at how Monica Rambeau talks to her higher ups, and how she just has this arrogance about her, and then like even the decisions like, oh, I'm gonna have to sideline you, or you're grounded or something, and then I didn't make that decision. Your mother did. Your mother. The single black mother built sword from the bottom up, and we really owe her everything. And like I said on Friday Night Ties, I like the actress is playing, Monica Rambeau. I think she's doing good, but the snarkiness and the overkill, you can see it. It's all over this show. It's all over it. Now I haven't seen the last 2. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes. I haven't seen anything since they fired Gina Carano. I'm not really interested in seeing it. But my point is that this is just an inherent problem throughout the Disney universes that they have. It's anti-male, pro-female nonsense. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know that it wasn't too in your face.
Oh no, it's not, and neither was The Force Awakens at first. But there were people that saw what was going on, and little moments like "stop holding my hand" and her being good at everything. And you look back on that, and you're like, "Fuck, this is obvious." It's obvious what they're doing.
As soon as they started getting into the current day stuff, the stuff that's going on outside the Hex, it was completely, totally obvious exactly what they were doing. And then they had the black female, the white female who just knows everything immediately, and the Asian man all team up together against the white power that literally is in charge and making all the wrong decisions and tries to shut them down. And at every moment, you even had John Woo or whatever his name is. Jimmy Woo. He's like, you can't disrespect your subordinates like that. You can't what did he say? It was some really SJW trigger word that he used in regards to speaking down to his the people underneath him, like depersoning or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but it was just absolutely ridiculous, and it's very obvious what they're
Steph,
doing.
why don't you use to pin the link she put out? Thank you, Steph. She's
the
killing it.
Streamlabs. Oh yeah,
Steph's killing it. The best part about that loser that sent that super chat earlier crying about me is if you keep talking shit, you're gonna get timed out by a woman. Oh, I bet that's gonna make you mad. So
a minority.
Yeah, so that's really gonna upset you. Typical male feminist.
We call her minority not because she's a smart woman, but because of the color of her skin. Yeah.
That was a decent burn, actually.
I know, but I was still like calling her smart, so it's just a burn to all women, I suppose.
If they can understand that.
Smash the melee button if you don't mind. Like the video, and I'm thinking about maybe going live late tonight or tomorrow, just because the Gina Carano momentum is so good, and we had such a good turnout when I went live a few days ago randomly. I was on the phone with Ryan. I was like, I think I'm gonna go live. He's like, fucking do it. Yeah, it was a good decision. It was a good decision.
And then you know what I did? I watched you. Why the fuck did I sit there and watch you? Finally, a live stream that Jeremy's on that I don't have to be any part of, that I don't have to fucking run, that I don't have to run everything, and I still watched it. What the fuck is wrong with me? God, I feel like that. Yeah, it's disgusting. Pew, you're dead. First 50 Swedish kronas. Saturday is my favorite day of the week because of these live streams. Wow. Thank you, Pew, you're dead. These Saturdays, I kind of dread them because it's the day before my Sundays, which are just absolutely terrible because all I do is stream the entire day. So Saturday, I wish I could enjoy it, but it's just like, God, I know what I have to do Sunday. So Christoph, the Polish guy for 25. Mark the Cyborg. Based on your Fallen Order review I rewatched recently, I noticed there was a JoJo Bizarre Adventure reference. Do you like that anime? You're muted. Of course.
No, you should have just let him keep talking. You should have just let him keep
talking. No, I started by saying, was that a motherfucking JoJo reference, which is kind of the meme about referring to JoJo. But yes, I do like that anime quite a lot, to the point that not the dog that I was holding earlier, the other dog that's running around here that you might have heard barking is named JoJo. So I'd say I'm a fan.
He has a dog named JoJo. Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
He's named after Joseph Joestar, the best JoJo.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Season 2 JoJo, trust me, he's awesome. He's basically anime Archer.
Okay, Bald Ryan for $5. Due to the sick nature and offensive comments, I am not leaving this group. Thank you for clarifying, Bald Ryan. We appreciate that.
That was good. That was good.
When I say that, a lot of people think it's a parody. That's just his name. His name's just Bald Ryan. It's not me. It's not like me. It's just his name. Dark Side Droids for $5. Point of personal privilege. I can't deal with all these microaggressions. I quit G&G. I swing by the office to pick up my last check on Monday.
I love Dark Side Droids.
Toxic work environment.
It is. It's like Lucasfilm up in here. Christoph, the Polish guy for 25. I would love if you guys had Gina Carano as a guest on Geeks and Gamers.
That'd be great. She obviously has an open invite. I think Drunk 3PO has a better chance on his channel, though, at this point. But maybe. True. Obviously, we'd love to have her on.
Yeah, I think, well, listen, after everything that's happened, everybody and their mother wants to get Gina Carano on their channel. From people like Ben Shapiro to people like Steven Crowder to just random places like Outkick, right? Outkick with Clay Travis that primarily covers sports wants to talk to her because of what she's done to stand up against cancel culture and the woke narrative.
Yeah, I mean, man, part of me, like, I don't. It's such big news with Lucasfilm right now and what she's doing. And I feel like there's a part of me that I obviously we're going to continue to cover this stuff because fuck Lucasfilm. And we've been covering this for years about what Lucasfilm has been, the type of place it is and the type of culture that they've created. But I've seen this thing like take off to the point where so many people are now covering it, and it's like a lot of these people have no fucking clue what's been going on. You know what I mean? It's just that Gina has like hit the next level. And people that couldn't even pronounce her name a fucking month ago are acting like they've been her biggest fans. You know what I mean? And it's just bullshit. And everybody loves her now. Everybody's the biggest fan in the world now. It's kind of like how I talk about The Force Awakens. Everybody hates The Force Awakens now. Literally everybody that talks about it says, I hated it from day one. No, Ryan hated it from day one. I'm pretty sure Lethal did. World Class Bullshitters did.
I was lukewarm.
Yeah,
generally,
was okay with it.
yeah, generally speaking, every fucking body was loving that movie. And now the internet, suddenly everybody hated it from the beginning. And now suddenly everyone's a Gina Carano fan. I've been a Gina fan from the beginning. No, the fuck you were not. Because I made a video after episode 4 of season 1 going against all these motherfuckers in the fandom menace, calling her an SJW because they saw a fucking woman that was a badass. And I have fucking made a video saying, she's not SJW. Like, this is Gina fucking Carano. Now everybody fucking loves Gina Carano. And it's annoying as fuck. But Gina, that's nothing against Gina because I think she's amazing. And as amazing as I think she is, that interview with Ben Shapiro took it to another level for me. Another fucking level. But there are so many people that are just fucking leeching off this shit, and it's fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah,
and
you got people who when she was introduced called it woke, called it SJW, and now maybe ever since seeing Rise of the Skywalker, you know, now they're big fans of Gina Carano. All of a sudden,
Coruscant.
Coruscant, I believe is what he called it. But yeah, you know, that's just how it is.
Bunch of face off.
My only claim to Gina cred is I went to see Haywire in the theater.
Oh wow, that is
mostly because I like Steven Soderbergh though, like the director. But
yeah,
I thought
she talks a little bit about that in this interview too. She talks about how that all came about. So pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, that was an aside.
Yeah, but the whole point was that as much as I would love to have Gina Carano on the channel, I'm not actively trying. I'm not actively pursuing her. She followed Geeks and Gamers on Twitter before our account was before our account was following her though. Like, she followed us. At no point. I've sent her one message from the Geeks and Gamers account, and that's because when I made a video talking, because I've never claimed that I'm an MMA fan. I'm not an MMA fan. I've ordered like WWF, when WWF stars will go over there and get their ass beat. Those are the fights that I've watched. But I messed up in one of my videos talking about her MMA career, and I referenced UFC because the person that doesn't watch MMA and UFC, sometimes you don't really understand the difference, and you just kind of call them the same thing. But it's basically
disconnect at this point, not understanding that, you know, like UFC got massive, but there was a bunch of other MMA things before.
Right.
This Bellator
Pride is probably the biggest one. Yeah.
It's just like WWF or WWE in professional wrestling. Some people just think that WWE is professional wrestling, and that's how a lot of people view UFC. They just view UFC as that is MMA. But anyway, the point is
Kleenex.
Yeah, so the point is the only message I ever sent her from the Geeks and Gamers account was one where I just apologized to her, just saying, hey, I misspoke on this. I didn't mean to, I wasn't, I've never been a fan of that. And that's it. But there's just so many people that are just so fucking desperate to get Gina on their channel now. And it's just kind of just annoying. So we're going to support her, but I'm not actively trying to talk to her or get her on the channel. I've never been in the business of talking to celebrities. But if they want to talk to us, we will obviously talk to them, but we don't just go searching out for that shit.
Yeah, like Jeremy said, open platform. If she ever wants to come on, we'd love to talk to her, but it's not something that, we're not going to go chasing after people like that. I do have to say, I asked her for one thing. I sent her a message asking her if she could introduce me to Drunk 3PO. So I do have to own up to that one. But yeah, we support Gina Carano, but so do a lot of other people right now. Suddenly, that's just how it is.
She hasn't responded to my challenge for a BJJ match either. I don't think she wants to fight me.
A what?
I said I wouldn't want a BJJ match. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, just the way you said it was a bit weird.
Yeah. It was a little weird.
Mine's out of the gutter. I'm talking about sports here, Jeremy. I thought you knew about those things.
He just said he didn't know the difference between UFC and MMA.
I guess that's a pretty good point.
That's a good point.
I mean, like, personally, I fucking hate Star Wars, so I've pretty much had nothing to say about her situation. I think it's very unfair what happened, but God, Star Wars, just fuck off. Fuck Star Wars.
There you go. I think a couple people got suckered back in by a really bad CGI Luke Skywalker. I think a lot of those people are once again out. So
Star Wars is saved. Well,
that's Jeremy. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said it because losers on Twitter that sit when they pee claimed I said it, even though they can't provide any clip of me actually saying it. They did say on Twitter it was true. Doesn't that sound like an SJW that lies and says someone said something, but they can't produce the clip to support their claims? But hey, who am I? I'm just a guy who said Star Wars was saved. Just can't provide the clip. I'll say it right here so you can clip this. Guys, The Mandalorian. Oh my God, Luke Skywalker is back. Star Wars is saved. Dave Filoni is literally Jesus Christ. And I will give all of my money to Bob Iger. Thank you. Thank you so much. There, clip that. Fuck you.
Remember that time when you did that thing where you're like, penis?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I went like, I totally went like, I did a video because these losers keep clipping stuff like out of context. So I just went on and said, I love Rian Johnson. I love The Force Awakens. I love The Last Jedi. I love Kathleen Kennedy. I love this. I love that. And I just said, clip all that, motherfuckers. You're so fucking stupid.
But there was a part where it was a pause. Then you're just like, penis.
The biggest one ever is the one that Josiah did.
I know.
If you ever see a clip of Jeremy going, I love The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. That was made by Josiah after Jeremy made a mistake in a video where he was talking about Force Awakens.
Yeah, it was never uploaded publicly. Like, he clipped it because I meant to say I love The Force Awakens, and I think it did a damn good job of what it needed to do for Star Wars.
Yeah,
but I said The Last Jedi, so I send this to Josiah. This is before I had a big following. I think we had like 10,000 subs on the channel. And I was like, hey man, I'm on the road. I'm in Houston. You can see I'm in a hotel room. I was like, I can't edit this. Can you take that part out? And he's laughing at me. He's just, can I please put this in the Facebook group and say that I busted you, that I exposed you? Yeah, of course, man. This thing went viral on Reddit like a year later because people found it and they were like, we got him, boys. Here it is right here. He's admitting it right here. And it went viral. People were going crazy over it. And they still use it to this day. They're like, here's the grifter himself. Like, good Lord, man. Always looking for something. Always looking for something.
It's true. MJ1 videos for $2. Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1 here. I rebranded. So now Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1, is now aka MJ1 videos. So thank you, Jeffrey Turner.
Mega Jetty, killing it.
And man, Mega Jetty's getting all over there with those names. Thanks, man. Jack Scarata for $5. Two things. One, I want Gina Carano to crush me with her ripped thighs. And two, and two, you could clip that, I guess. And two, as fun as it looks, I think Mario Golf will fizzle out shortly after launch. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's maybe a good segue, actually, to talk about the Nintendo Direct, the first full Nintendo Direct in, it seems like 10
days.
Seems like 10 years, the way Nintendo fans have been acting. But Jeremy, you obviously watched the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I just saw that because I didn't really care about it. What were the big takeaways for you of this big Nintendo Direct?
Before we start, everybody place your bets on whether or not Jeremy and I are going to have a screaming argument by the end of this segment.
Yes. So I think that it fell a little short of my expectations, but I still thought it was a very good Direct. I thought they brought something for everyone. I don't think they had a Grand Slam announcement, which is what I think a lot of people were hoping for, something Metroid related or a Zelda 35th anniversary or a Mario Kart 9 announcement, which I didn't think was possible, even though I hoped. But they had, it was a solid Direct, a very solid Direct. For me, the standout was Mario Golf and Splatoon 3. I think a lot of people were happy with Skyward Sword being released for the Switch with actual real controls, which is a big problem from the first game, just like it was for Mario Galaxy. And there was a lot of RPG style games, anime style games, and I think it was a very well-rounded direct. Didn't get a grand slam. I give it like a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10, but it was good. It was solid. And I think that, I mean, there was like 1.3 million people watching this thing. It was insane. And that was just on their YouTube channel. I don't know what it was like on Twitch and on their website and everything like that, but it pulled a lot of attention. And I think generally speaking, people were pretty excited. I will say that I was very, very happy to see the DC girls game get ratioed to hell and back over on Nintendo's channel. As a matter of fact, I looked it up before we went live. Right now it's sitting at 2,600 upvotes to 4,100 downvotes. Yeah, people just, it doesn't matter. People are tired of that shit, man. But I thought Nintendo did a really good job overall, but not a grand slam. It was a solid direct from beginning to end. And I thought there was something for almost everyone in that.
You know, if this was the second or third Nintendo Direct that we had this year, or in the past year, I think that people would probably be having the same thoughts. I think the fact that it is the first one in a year and a half, people were expecting more from it. For it to have been so long since they did one, and for there really to not be any what I would call major announcements. I do think that's where a lot of the disappointment came from. Mario Golf, like you said, Mario Golf and Splatoon 3 were the biggest things I think announced. What do you think, Mark?
I really, really, really like that the Ninja Gaiden trilogy got announced. Mostly because it's not only coming to Switch, it's also going to be on both consoles and Steam. So that makes me super happy, especially because I'm currently playing through Neo 2, which is made by Team Ninja. And while I was playing the original Neo, I was just like, why aren't the Ninja Gaiden games on Steam also? The only one was the zombie spinoff, Yaiba. But the Ninja Gaiden games are incredible. Like, at least the first two. I actually never played the third one because I heard it was bad. So maybe I won't say all three are good because I really don't know anything about the third one. But Ninja Gaiden's great. I think that Splatoon 3 is probably going to be more Splatoon. Not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think
two is a slight step down for them from the first game. Still a good game.
I mean,
still a good
game.
Didn't
the first one not have a campaign though?
Yeah, it had like what the heck was that?
Sorry,
was
that's dog. Yeah, I've been trying to get her to jump up this whole time. I don't know what she wants. Harley, I know you have food and water. Like you have a pee pad. What?
The dog is inside. Just so you guys know.
Reason Splatoon 2 felt like an extension of Splatoon 1 instead of a worthy sequel, and I think that 3 is going to actually add some different gameplay mechanics, and it's going to be a worthy sequel this time. And they're clearly going to take a lot of time on it because what is it releasing in 2022? So even with this announcement in early 2021, they're going to have this game out in probably mid 2022. So they still have a lot of work on it. But I think that was the biggest issue with it. But I enjoy Splatoon 2. I enjoy Splatoon 1. I think I liked 1 more just from the multiplayer aspect. But there was that Square Enix game that was announced. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Project Triangle.
It
Project Triangle looks pretty cool.
It looks like the Final Fantasy Tactics to Octopath Traveler, which was also announced as Project Octopath Traveler. And like this one's Project whatever it is. But it's going to be like a turn-based tactics RPG, which, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever played Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's quietly one of the best Final Fantasy games, like even going up against the mainline series, and they haven't really touched it since the Game Boy Advance, I think, sequel they did, or maybe, no, I think they ported it to Game Boy Advance, and they might have done a sequel to it on PSP. But anyways, they haven't touched Final Fantasy Tactics in a long time, so I think that it's probably not a bad place to take the Octopath kind of art style, at least. My biggest disappointments, though, because I know everyone wants to know why I was disappointed by Nintendo, is I think that Skyward Sword Remastered looks super overpriced for what it is. It's like a full price game for like what looks like an upscale of a Wii game, not Wii U, a Wii game, everybody. And they could have very easily, I think, made a collection that was Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker.
Wind Waker, just
And
like they did.
But I think a lot of people are anticipating that they are going to have a Zelda collection for the 35th anniversary. They're just not ready to announce it yet.
I mean, they still did announce a Zelda game, though, and that's what we have to respond to. So
no, absolutely. But I'm saying that they have a 35th anniversary, 30th or 35th. I can't remember.
Did that already happen though? Like, didn't that happen a couple of days ago?
No.
That 35th anniversary?
Mm-mm.
I mean, like, honestly, the only 3D Zelda game that I have a lot of interest in playing is Wind Waker, the one that they did release on Wii U, and that's one of the few Wii U games they haven't ported over, even though it's technically a GameCube game. But Skyward Sword never really looked that great to me, and it was not super well received. I'm not a huge fan of motion controls unless it's a VR game, and this didn't look like it was really doing anything special other than giving you the option to swing the sword with a right stick. And I think it's very overpriced for what looks like a lazy emulation, and that kind of is Nintendo's deal anytime they release old games. And I think that when you compare that to what Vicarious Visions has done with like Tony Hawk and the Crash games and what they're doing with Diablo 2, I think it's kind of crazy that Nintendo's still doing that stuff. But
I mean, if you can sell 20 million copies at something at full price, why wouldn't you do it?
Because like your customer base should be smarter than to let you.
I mean, so you're telling me if Crash would sell 20 million copies at full price, they wouldn't sell Crash at full price for 20 million copies? You're telling me as a business, you make the most money you can.
Oh, okay, then why not sell it for $500, Jeremy? I'm sure there's
because they wouldn't buy it for $500.
I guarantee you they would, Jeremy. Nintendo fans will buy anything. Anything they're served.
Have you ever heard of the Wii U? Have you ever heard of the Wii U?
I mean, a lot of people bought it.
Less than 10 million people bought, or what, 13 million? 13 million people bought it. Nintendo fans won't just buy anything.
If 13 million people gave me $1, I'd be pretty happy.
Jeremy, that was actually a strategy, Jeremy, to have no one buy the Wii U, so all the games they made from it, they could just port to the Switch and sell them full price.
It was their early access Switch system.
Yeah, I never understood the argument of a business selling a product that the consumer base is willing to pay for. Oh, bad business. What? I don't understand that.
It's because compared to what everyone in the industry is doing around them, they're overcharging for what
they've never worried about what the industry does.
And some fans, I'm not naming names, but some fans will just I can't point. Fucking mirroring there.
You trying to point at me, motherfucker?
Jeremy, no. Some fans will just defend it even if what they're doing is shit. Like that's what I mean. Like I think
Again, are you telling me that businesses are supposed to be nice and being like, no,
Jeremy, you can't make the argument that just because a strategy makes money, it's a consumer friendly strategy.
Yeah,
that doesn't add up.
Here, Jeremy, let me make this example to you. Think about how you complain about Apple and how we complain about Apple. The fact that they're no longer innovative. Their fucking products are kind of just the same. But they're still charging like astronomical amounts. Like people are still paying for it because people have kind of been indoctrinated into the Apple thing. So like I can kind of see that type of argument from where Mark is coming from.
But I don't have a problem with Apple being who they are. I just think it's a shit company and a shit product. But that's fine if people want it. I just think like it's not even close to the competitor, which I support. But that's fine if people want to eat that up. But that's not the same argument here. I'm not saying Apple shouldn't charge what they have. I ever said Apple should have lower prices? My phone cost more than an iPhone.
Right, then Jeremy.
No, but you've criticized Apple fan base.
How do you think even the chat would react if I made the argument that CD Projekt did nothing wrong because fuck it, it's a broken game. It's a broken game, but they released it and it made money, so it's good business. They're a great studio. Like I've never made that argument when defending CD Projekt Red, but if I did, people would be right to be like that's like a full out shill fanboy argument.
Well, I understand that, but I don't see how Nintendo is doing something inherently wrong by providing a product that the customer base is willing to pay for. So therefore, they're putting it at the market value that the market has determined is the value. How is that a bad thing?
What market? Like, did they put out a survey?
The market that buys their products.
I think that
they're literally having the best year they've ever had as a company. So clearly the market is telling them that they like what they're producing.
Okay, but like the game's not out, so we don't know how it's gonna sell. But I mean, I think
generally speaking, you're not making a specific argument about one game. You're making a general argument about them as a company.
No, I'm making a specific argument about them releasing an upscaled Wii game with slightly touched up controls for full price, but not bundled with other games.
And if the market's willing to buy that at that price, what's wrong with that company charging that price?
Because it sucks. Like it's not something that should be defended because they're gouging.
I mean, how much did God of War Remastered sell for? 3.
God of War 3? Well, that was one generation old, and they totally
yes or no question.
They totally it was full price, but actually, wait, no,
what?
It's $40. I think it was $40.
Okay,
I'd have to look it up, but
was it worth $40?
Yeah.
Why?
But also
because
they've changed all the textures in the game, Jeremy.
Because the market
totally overhauled it. They didn't just port it and say, "Here, full price again." Thank you.
No, it's worth it because the market paid for it. That's my point.
And that is not how I view value.
I mean, I played God of War 3 when it came out, and it was the most beautiful game on any console I'd ever played. So when Remastered came out, I didn't think it was that big of an upgrade. It was slightly, it ran a little bit better and was a little bit smoother.
One of the ones I'm playing through right now, though, is a Blue Point remaster of God of War 1 that came with God of War 2, and that collection was $30.
Right. So, I mean,
then they released the Origins collection that was the 2 PSP ones redone in 1080p at 60 frames a second for PS3 for another $30. They didn't.
What is the point of a company, though? What is the company's goal at the end of the day? What is their goal?
Well, yeah, I would say that you were right in saying to make money, but I think that there is also an argument to be made for a company should try to make their customer base happy. And now, what would make a customer base happy? By growing the customer base exponentially, which is what they've done this year. In the last 5 years, they've grown their customer base. They do it because of Skyward Sword Remastered.
You said that their job is to make the customer base happy, correct?
Yes.
If the customer base is growing exponentially, then are they not making the customer happy?
Okay, but that is sort of really a few steps away from what we're actually talking about, though, which is Skyward Sword Remastered and whether or not it is appropriately priced for what they're actually giving you. And the specific argument I am making is that for one upscaled Wii game to be charging full price, I think is a ripoff, and I don't think anyone should buy it. I think people will, because people are Zelda fanboys that will just buy anything with Zelda on it, no matter how much it costs. But I don't think they should. I think they should send Nintendo the message that that's not really okay. I don't think they will, but I think that that's what they should do.
But so what you're saying, but you are, based on the words you just said, they should send Nintendo the message that it's okay. So by the fact that Nintendo is breaking records every single month, isn't the base sending the message to Nintendo that what they're doing is okay?
But are they breaking records with Skyward Sword on Nintendo Switch, Jeremy? Because that's what we're talking. You keep on shifting the question to Nintendo sales overall.
Well,
Stop.
But this is about decisions that they continue to make, correct? Like, you don't like that they do this with any of their remasters from a Wii or a Wii U or anything, correct? Like, you didn't like what they did with Mario 3D All-Stars, did you?
No, I thought
did the market give them
lazy.
good feedback? Did the market give them insane feedback?
Maybe, but that doesn't mean that a shit port of Mario 64 and
so
I don't know, did they even do anything to Galaxy?
Not really. I mean, they changed the control scheme, which to me is worth $60 on its own.
That was still better than this one though, because at least they gave you 3 games.
But they are changing the controls on Skyward Sword, so that's a huge difference for a lot of people. They're making it so that
motion controls get mapped to the right stick. An emulator can do that.
That's not fine. Then why can't the emulator do it right now and sell it for $60?
Well, because you can't sell emulated games. That's illegal.
Exactly. So it can't be done. When you create an IP and you have the control of the IP, and then you have a mass customer base that wants the IP, if you have created a product that people want and you set a price in which people support that price in the numbers of tens of millions, then you have the right to do that as a business. And you're saying that the message being sent by the customer base is the wrong message because people choose to spend their money on something you don't like.
Jeremy, by your argument, you are never, ever allowed to complain about the price of anything.
That's not true at all.
In which context would you be able to would keep consistent with the argument you just made?
Because I have said many times, if something makes money, unlike Disney Star Wars. So like if Solo didn't lose money, then it doesn't matter what I think. I've made the point, hey, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. You can say whatever you want, but what does that mean? That means we're going to get more Brie Larson because it made $1 billion. It doesn't matter what I think. So I understand when the market speaks, the market speaks.
Jeremy,
Transformers made $1 billion.
Okay, but what's an
We're gonna
example
get
of something?
more
What's an
Transformers.
example of something that you do not feel is appropriately priced, and why do you feel that way?
I don't know if I-
This is like overrated and underrated.
I don't really that's the whole thing. Give me something because I don't know. I don't make these determinations.
Have you ever
The
gone to a
market makes
store,
it.
been like, hey, I might want to buy that, picked it up, looked at the price, and been like, oh, no way.
I mean, that's not the same thing though.
But it kind of
That's-
is because I
No,
saw
it's
that
not.
Skyward Sword thing, and then they were like $60. I'm like, oh, okay, come on.
I
that,
don't
like-
because the argument would basically be that anything that you find that you disagree with that price point, as long as this,
As long as they're
this-
making money, then what they're doing is perfectly fine. Like,
as long as
it's-
there's
Well,
nothing
I-
wrong.
Again,
You can't
I
criticize them.
mean, yeah, I've been to the store plenty of times where, okay, if something is marked down 50% off, I'm like, oh man, I probably wouldn't have bought that at full price, but now it's 50%. Do you know why it's 50%? Because the market determined that it was overpriced. Now it's within my price range as a consumer that didn't want it at full price. But I was only able to get it at half price because the market determined it was not worthy of the full price. Nintendo has proven time and time again that their prices, the market has determined those prices are worthy. Simple
But you
as
can,
that.
but you can still sit there and criticize though.
You absolutely can, but what do you want them to change?
Hold up.
My
I'll bring up the
question
Apple
is, what do you
comparison
change?
again? I'm going to bring up the Apple comparison again because this one very much falls in line with you. Even though obviously there is the market value has been set by Apple, and people still buy them in millions and millions and millions of iPhones, laptops, whatever it may be. We can still look at them and be like, wow, these people are fucking retarded for buying these things at what they're getting when we think there's obviously a better way to do it and a better thing to buy. We can still have those criticisms, even though the market has determined the value for those things. And it's
But
working fine for
okay,
them.
so Mark, are you interested at Skyward Sword at $10?
yeah, I would buy it for $10.
Okay, I'm not interested in an iPhone at $10. I don't want a fucking iPhone. I'm happy with my Android. I will never buy an iPhone as long as they are like they are. If people want to spend their money, they can spend it. Mark is saying I'm a consumer and I want the price set different for me than what the market has determined works. I am not asking for a fucking iPhone. I'm not interested in an iPhone at 75% off. I don't give a
Jeremy,
fuck.
that's actually
I just
why I
think they're a
asked you to
shitty
come up with an
product.
example of a thing that you think is overpriced. I didn't want to necessarily.
But I don't
put
think that the
something-
iPhone is overpriced. I just think it's a piece of shit product.
No, that's why I
compared to the
asked
superior product.
Jeremy, stop. That's why I asked you to think of an example of something that you would buy but think is overpriced, because I know you don't want an iPhone.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I didn't come up with an example on my own.
I
Because
don't
you could
know
always just be like, I don't want that. though. And I'd be
okay,
like,
a
fine.
Ferrari is overpriced. Okay, so let me demand that Ferraris are $20,000 instead of $2 million
Okay, but if
because
you
I
found
want
out-
a Ferrari.
If you could find out, if you found
Does
out
it
that they
make
could-
sense?
If you found out that they could make a Ferrari that price, they're just
They
arbitrarily.
can't make
not.
a Ferrari for that price.
Hypothetically, if you found out they could, but they're choosing not to because the market isn't forcing them to. But you could easily have a Ferrari for that price. They're just like, yeah, but people have paid $400,000 for it, so that's what we're going to charge. Wouldn't you be like, well, that sucks? Or would you be like, well, good on them?
So you want Nintendo to operate to the standards of an industry that they don't have the same business model as.
I mean, it's an industry they're in.
Microsoft and Sony have a completely different business model, and third-party
And I would
developers have
say
a
that
completely different business model.
I would also say that PlayStation Now is not worth the money compared to Xbox Game Pass. Like, I have no problem making that argument at all.
And again, and maybe it's not, but at the end of the day, a company is going to get what they can get. Like, okay, theme parks. Okay, we have a theme park channel. Park Hop is going to go live soon. Disney's prices are always going up. Insane. $150 a day for one person to go to a park. Fucking insane, right? Universals are almost always in line with Disney's. Because why? Because the market has determined the market. In my opinion, yeah, it's insane that you have to spend $150 to go to a goddamn theme park for a day. but the market has determined that that is the going price that they can ask for. If they could get 5,000 a day, they would do it. If they could only pull people in there at $20 a day, that's what they would do. The market determines the market. I have no problem with that.
Okay, but if Universal was like, yeah, we're going to drop down to $80 a day, and Disney was like, yeah, we're still doing 100, but they were roughly equivalent in terms of the experience. After a while, would you not be like, well, Disney's kind of overcharging because we can have sort of the same experience over at Universal.
But you can't get it. You can't get Zelda on another console.
Yeah, but you can get other games from that same era remastered on other consoles.
But you can't get Zelda, and Zelda is a brand.
It's widely regarded as like the shittiest Zelda game, though.
I would agree with that, but that still doesn't make a difference.
But like, what I mean is saying that, yeah, but this is Zelda, though, I don't think really stacks up because, for example, God of War 3, I think is a far better game than Skyward Sword, at least based on what I've heard of Skyward Sword. I don't really feel comfortable making that argument objectively because I haven't played Skyward Sword.
It's not even close. God of War 3 is a significantly better game, but God of War will not sell as well as Zelda because of the built-in brand recognition.
No, that's not necessarily true. The Zelda games don't sell particularly well.
Breath of the Wild is pushing like 20 million
not
units.
Representative of most of the Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are probably representative of what Zelda games were traditionally selling.
If you look at the Switch titles, fucking Mario Party sold like 12 million copies. That is the biggest crime in the history of video games. Mario Party on the fucking Switch is a trash game, but people bought it because the brand is so powerful on the Switch. That's just how it goes. They have a brand. They have people that are going to eat it up. Let them make their money. I don't have a problem with capitalism.
I mean, I don't have a problem with capitalism either. I just don't think that
market determines market. Simple as that. Market determines market. If people buy it at 60, sell it for 60. If they buy it at 100, sell it for 100. If they buy it for 20, sell it at 20. Market determines the market.
But Jeremy, what you're basically saying is that we can never ever criticize the pricing.
I didn't say you can't criticize it. I'm just saying, what would you want them to do? Not make as much money because that's a dumb business
I honestly think they could make far more money if they priced it more appropriately.
They're literally breaking every record in their company's history now.
Jeremy, if they priced that specific game more reasonably, I think they could sell far more copies of it and make more money on that game.
So you
Jeremy,
think
stop it! That game only. No. Right. Don't talk about all Switch's sales.
No.
Skyward Sword remastered specifically. I think they could sell 5 million copies at $30 as opposed to 1 million copies at 60.
Nintendo,
that is more money made overall.
So you're telling me the people that have made the decisions at Nintendo to break every record are now looking at this and going, yeah, let's make less money on this game. Or maybe they're looking at their internal numbers and making all of the decisions that they've been making that's led to the most successful time in the history of their company and going, let's sell this product at this price because it's going to maximize our profits. They have enough business sense to make the right decision. And they've proven that.
I don't think you're correct about that. I think they've been getting lucky because the Switch has been doing very, very well.
Oh my God. You don't fucking dominate an industry for 40 years by luck. You dominate it by being good at what you do.
All right. Well, I will say this. I just looked up and it looks like God of War 2018 and Breath of the Wild have sold almost exactly the same in terms of sales numbers. Both around over 21 million copies.
I also don't think that either of those games are representative of what the sales of the rest of their franchise would be. I think that if you compare like the PS3 God of War games against like the Wii and Wii U Zelda games, that's probably a better metric because you're talking about the two biggest hits in the franchise in like a decade each. For God of War 2018 versus Breath of the Wild.
Well, like I said, Mario Party for Switch has no business selling as many copies as it did. Not one single bit of business, other than the fact that it is part of a brand and it's on a console that is just unstoppable. And so if Mario Party, shitty fucking Mario Party can sell that well, then yeah, Skyward Sword can probably sell really well. Mario Party's a trash fire. And it is if you want to tell me, like I'm sitting here telling you it's does not deserve to have the sales it has, but it has them. Am I saying, well, Nintendo should have priced that at $20? This shitty game. No, they do what they want. If you're gonna move that many copies at $60, do it. Maximize your profits. You're a business. Do what you got to do. Let the market determine the market.
You should be looking at the product that you're actually selling and being like, is this actually worth what we're going to charge for it? And I think that your customer base should have the wherewithal to look at a product that is overpriced clearly and say, no, that's not worth it. We should not buy this now.
They did that. It's called the Wii U. And Nintendo got rejected. So you're telling me the Nintendo fan base will eat anything up, but your argument falls apart because the Wii U was overpriced and it was garbage.
I mean, that's what you keep bringing up. The decision to buy a console is also different than the decision to buy a game for a console you already own. And lots of people own the Switch, so the install base is already huge. So they could stand to sell tons of copies of a remastered Zelda game, especially in between Breath of the Wild and whatever Breath of the Wild 2 ends up being called. But instead of releasing like a collection of remasters for a full price, price, I guess. I don't know I can't construct that sentence. Instead of releasing a collection of 3 games the way they did for like Mario 3D World, they just decided, let's try discharging one, but like we'll also sell it for full price. I think that people should be like, yeah, well, that's kind of a ripoff, like especially because it wasn't a very well received game to begin with. So why is this worth $60? Well, see, like, honestly, the only argument I've heard from anyone is because it's Zelda, it's Nintendo, of course it's worth it. And like, I just don't really agree with that. I think that even if you've got cachet behind your brand, you should still be like, okay, but what is this product worth $60? And I don't think there's an honest answer for yes in that regard when you compare it to anything else in the industry.
By the way, I do love the Wii U. I think Nintendo made a ton of mistakes. I think Wii U is significantly a better system than the Wii, but they made a lot of mistakes, and the fan base clearly rejected it. But we need to move on.
Yes.
Fade in.
All right. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey for £2. Can't cancel Disney Plus when I never had it. Fuck Disney. Thank you, Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Benjamin Brown for $5. Gina Carano is the first female MMA fight I saw, and I went to see Haywire specifically for her. She's a beast and hot. Love you guys. Jeremy is number 1, by the way, with his tongue sticking out and a wink face. So he wants to fuck you. Thank you, Benjamin Bowen. We appreciate that.
You got to talk to Ryan first. He's been doing a real good job of all those parody accounts, apparently. So
yeah. Mexican Iron Man for $10. This unsolicited promo is to say that to sign up for premium site G&G today. It's a great website, and you get addicted, and you can get addicted to Fact Blast too. Go for it today.
Damn, was that my alt account? Damn, that was good. I know.
Man.
Love Mexican Iron Man, but. Yeah, thank you. By the way, we did play Among Us for premium members. Gary was there. Mark was there. It was a lot of fun. Ryan, Lethal, Krista, the ladies were there.
And I wasn't there.
Huh?
I wasn't there.
Lethal wasn't there.
We've invited you to play Among Us. You won't play it.
I don't have it, but I wasn't there.
It's literally like $2.
But you just said he was there. That's his point.
Isn't it free?
Did I say Lethal?
Too?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I meant to say Ryan.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my bad. Guy. Fuck it. I'm just looking at ass anyway, so maybe I was wishing he was there.
Shout out to everyone that bought a Miranda's ass shirt. You the real.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and premium membership's going really good, and we got a lot in the works. Krista was telling me about what was this game, Mark? This game that just came out, Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares 2?
Yeah. Fuck, that looks fucking crazy. I don't know if it's multiplayer though. But she's wanting to play that for premium. Did you play Little Nightmares, the first one?
I did not. I might actually have it. I think I got it on a Humble Bundle, but I've not played it. I heard
it looks
good.
Dude, Little Nightmares looks fucking creepy as hell. I was actually blown away by it.
Subhuman for $3 with a fist bump super sticker. Thank you, Subhuman. Jack Scarata for $2. Me again. Jeremy, did you pick up Like 3D World?
Did I what? Did I pick it up and did I like it? Oh yeah. I mean, so we played it multiplayer and the lag was absolutely fucking ridiculous. We played that for premium, myself, Ryan, X-Ray Girl, and Krista. But I played it, and I played 3D World when it was on the Wii U and I played it and loved it. But I played it afterwards, and one thing I like about this version of 3D World that really makes the game better is the player movement is much quicker than it was on the Wii U. And but yeah, it runs great when you're not running online because Nintendo is shitty online infrastructure. But I have heard that our experience
But people
was,
still pay for it, Jeremy. I mean, the market's determined that it's perfect.
I never said that. When have I ever said Nintendo's online is good?
People pay for it, though. Market determines the market.
Well, for $5.
Yeah, it's worth the $5 that you spend to do
Are they
something that you
asking
can do
what
on
are they
PC
are
for
they
free.
Wait a minute. Are they asking what Xbox charges?
I mean, no, but they're definitely charging a hell of a lot more than what you charge on PC.
Do you know how much a PC cost?
I mean, I could build you a Raspberry Pi for $80.
And
That'll
that's
play
going to
all
run
the
all
original Nintendo games.
and that's going to run all the games I want to run on PC.
No, but you can run some games that you can play online for free.
Okay, but you just said it's free on PC.
Can the Nintendo Switch run half the games that run on my PC?
The Nintendo
Can it
runs
run a third of them?
It runs the games that it runs.
And so does a Raspberry Pi, Jeremy.
Okay, but you just said that you could play them for free on PC.
Yes, you can.
With the how much does a PC cost though? That requires to play all these games for free.
Name your price, and I will build a PC for that price.
All right,
$20.
so what? Yeah, $12.
$20. I might have to do some digging on, like, but that would be a tough one. Okay?
And that's going to run Call of Duty at 4K.
No, can the Switch?
I'm not.
Jesus.
Is Call
Jeremy,
of Duty
that-
on the Switch?
No, it's not on a
Okay,
Raspberry
then.
Pi either. But the games that you can run on a Raspberry
you
Pi,
could play it for free on.
you can play online for free for whatever games that system runs.
Okay. But
Where,
what
I don't
does it
understand
take?
where your point is.
Because you make it sound like it's just so easy to get a PC and to keep it upgraded and to have the graphics card and all of that. When the reality is,
Jeremy,
it's fucking expensive
Jeremy,
as hell.
I could build you a PC that is as powerful as a Nintendo Switch for $100.
Okay. But is it going to run the PC games
It
that
will run
you said you can
everything
play?
that a Nintendo Switch can run.
I can play Breath of the Wild right now?
Actually, yes.
Okay. Can I play Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 3D World right now?
Yes, if you use a Dolphin emulator, you can play absolutely anything that was on Wii or Wii.
So more hoops and all of that you have to jump through.
Yes.
And it's going to run all that.
Yes, but can it work?
Okay. I mean, yeah, it can.
Do you have to pay for it? Do you have to pay to play them online?
Yeah, you have to pay to have the system
You have
built.
to pay for the hardware.
Yes.
Not to pay to play online, Jeremy.
Then it's not free.
It is free to play on online multiplayer on any PC platform unless you're playing a game like an MMO that are the game level subscrition services.
So then
It
it's
is
not.
not-
So
it
it's
is
not
not
universally free like you're advertising. There are hoops and everything that you have to jump through depending on
some
what game you want to play.
Some MMOs charge for a monthly fee, and that is
Then it's not
That has
free.
nothing to, that has nothing
That
to
has
do
nothing
with
to
the
do with the
platform.
system
that
level,
has to
though.
do
It's
with
nothing
the
at all to
game.
do with the platform. It's the
Okay.
the developers.
So what
of the game
what MMOs do I have to pay to play on Switch outside of their online?
Is there even a single MMO on?
I'm just
Switch?
asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
No,
You're the one that opened up the it's free, everybody.
It is-
except
Online multiplayer is free to play
suck
on
my-
PC for
Okay.
any game that is
So
not
WoW?
a massively multiplayer online
Okay.
RPG that are usually monthly subscription, but that is
Okay,
their
so-
monetization model.
so that's false advertising on your part.
Nintendo Switch, Jeremy, you can own a collection of 200 games, all with online multiplayer modes, and you cannot access half of each of those games unless you pay Nintendo $5 a month.
okay.
$8.99 for us, by the way, in Canada.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan.
So where's your argument? That's what I was like. What argument are you actually making?
My argument is it's not, they're not charging the same thing as Xbox Live, so I'm not expecting the same quality of that Xbox Live.
Well, yeah, but it is significantly lower quality than PC online multiplayer, which is free. So again, where's your argument against my point?
Well, my point is that I have to pay significantly more money to have a machine that's going to run those games on a PC.
No, you don't. Like I said, I could build you a machine that is as powerful as a Nintendo
You just
Switch.
said I can't play Call of Duty in 4K on that machine
And you
at
can't,
$12
can
price.
you on Switch? Like that's what I mean.
not-
Where is that
I'm not-
equivalence coming from?
I'm not buying a Switch to play Call of Duty. I'm buying it to play Mario.
Jeremy, you are basically saying that I can't make the argument that a PC is cheaper to play online multiplayer, not to
Oh, you
build the
can.
hardware.
You can, but I can poke holes in it.
There is no hole to be poked in that argument, Jeremy.
Can I
That
play
is-
Call of Duty at 4K on the $12 machine you're going to build me?
No. Can you play it on? A
Okay,
Nintendo,
then-
Can you play it on a Nintendo Switch? Answer
Is
that
it
question.
on a Nintendo Switch?
Is it on a Raspberry Pi that you built for $20?
It's on a PC. You said PC games for free. Yes?
God, no, I said you don't have to play online multiplayer.
Right. Okay. Online multiplayer. Call of Duty. Ryan, Mark, I want to play
Why
Call of Duty in
Why
4K.
is Call of Duty the only one that you're bringing up as
because
an
I'm a
example?
normie gamer and you're telling me I can play games for free on PC.
Tell
I
you
want
what,
to play
here- okay,
Call
you
of
want
Duty.
a normie example? You play Fortnite for free on that $100 Linux PC. You cannot play it on your Switch that you have to pay $5 a month for.
Are you using Fortnite to sell me?
Yes, because that's
on a
actually
PC?
something that
is that
on
the
both.
level that you're at now?
Oh my god.
You're actually using Fortnite because you can't back up the hole that I put in your argument that I can't play Call of Duty on this machine that you're trying to sell me. I'm just asking questions.
Snyder Cut.
I'm so happy Extra Girl's not home tonight.
Why?
Why? What are we
Because
gonna
I
do?
might have to do some drywalling. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm just happy I got Mark to a point where he's
I'm
using
gonna drink
Fortnite as
myself
a
a
selling
monster
point.
and go full Kyle right after this stream.
He's using Fortnite as a selling point now on PCs.
And he was going
Jeremy,
to beat up
it's-
his fiance.
It's one of the. No, I just didn't want her to see me punching holes in the drywall in the place that we rent. It's okay. There's no Monster Energy drinks in the house, though. I think I can avoid punching drywall.
All right.
But yeah,
But let me move on. Benjamin Bowen for $2, and Ryan is dumber than the B in the word dumb. Very, very witty and edgy. Thank you, Benjamin Bowen, with no profile picture. Black and white news for $10. John, what's up, man? Finally, not freezing in Houston now. Man, it was cold as hell, but not as cold as Lucasfilm and woke Disney. Disney and the NBA puppets of China. Shout out John Matrix. Subscribe to Black and White Sports. Subscribe to Black and White News. John and Rhodes are awesome dudes. So
Be live tomorrow on Sports Wars.
That's right. Jade Shadow for $5. Hashtag Snyder Cut Worldwide. Jeremy is a marginally likable grifter. Oh, hi, Mark.
No.
Hi.
No.
There's nothing likable about him.
Not a one fucking thing. But I am ready for the Snyder Cut, and I'm supportive of it 100%.
High five.
Jacob Shadow for $5. Pre-ordered Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Played it on the Wii. The motion controls were wonky. I love the story. Still hope they make a Zelda collection for 35th. Well, the 35th anniversary is tomorrow. So if this big announcement that Jeremy was talking about, packaging of these games,
a lot of people think it's going to happen. No, a lot of people think it's going to happen. The rumor is anyway that it will happen later in the year towards the holidays. It's still going to be the 35th anniversary year. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
There you go. All right, let's. There's a lot of super chats. We will get to all of them, I promise. But let's move on to actually talking about a video game. Valheim.
Oh yeah. I forgot that's what we do here.
So Valheim is kind of taken people by storm these past couple weeks. Valheim is a kind of like a Viking survival game where you just get thrown into a world with nothing. You kind of have to start from scratch, Minecraft style in a little bit of a way. Collect items and build shit to build more shit, to build a workbench, to build more shit, make settlements, things like this. But it's $20 for early access right now. It's a very, it's not like it's great graphics or anything like that, but it is sold 3 million copies in just a few short weeks. An indie game. And right now, as we speak, there are 400,000 people playing it on Steam, which makes it the third highest played thing on Steam right now after Counter-Strike and Dota 2.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, what are the first two?
Yeah, which is that's fucking crazy that an indie game that's early access has that much activity right now. And I'll actually pull it up and show you the Steam charts, and you can see the rise that it had. You see Valheim 400,000 right now. On January 1st there were almost nobody, and now it's just boom.
Wow,
That's
awesome though.
There's just under 100K people streaming on Twitch right now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
a lot,
crazy.
man.
It's impressive, man.
Yeah, and it's the hottest new PC game on Steam. Now sold 3 million copies, and the Steam, you can go check out the reviews. It's really, really well received by a lot of people. Again, it's just in early access, so the game's not even complete. Now, I know Mark downloaded a little bit. I downloaded a little bit and played it. This game is definitely meant to be played as a group. Essentially, the point of the game is you get dropped in this world, and you're supposed to upgrade your stuff. But there are several bosses throughout the world that you do have to fight and face, and you need to upgrade your gear to be able to do that. I don't think, Mark, you've probably not gotten into any of that yet, have you?
Yeah, I just learned from my friends that you have to build the hammer in order to start building structures. So
yeah.
I've got like 30 minutes of game time in it.
The fucking bird tells you that.
Oh, does it? No, I guess
yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of skipping through tutorials. Like I don't often watch tutorials in games like this. To be fair, I try to like fiddling around with the mechanics myself. But I figured there'd be like a build menu, and then it might say something because it's the build menu is one of the controls there, and it kept on saying like mouse 2 for build menu, and I clicked it, and it was like, okay, that's blocking. So I don't know. But I basically just ran around and built stone axes, fought some orcs, and then chopped down trees and picked up stones and built more stone axes. So my subjective view of the game is not very accurate right now. But I have like my army buddies, the guys that like I would play Valorant with and stuff, are all like living in that game right now. Even one of them's deployed in the Ukraine right now, and he's playing it because apparently it's such a light game that his really shitty internet connection while he's on deployment can actually run Valheim and like play online. So they've created like an entire little village already. I was like, I gotta play with those guys.
It looks like something that you could sink a lot of time into and have a lot of fun if you had a couple other people that played it very actively with you. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of what you see people doing on Twitch and stuff right now, is playing as groups, and like to the point where you can build boats, you can sail through rivers and shit in between the lands. Like it really does look like you can immerse yourself in this little world that's only just getting started. It only has a couple animals really and things that they are going to add a lot more to. Have you seen it night though with the sky?
I'm watching gameplay right now.
The thing I was gonna say though, when you brought up the boats, is the group chat, like our group, like me and my army buddies, our little group chat that we do anytime we're basically share memes in and stuff. It's been so funny just seeing that, because you'll see one guy post and be like, "Hey James, I'm taking your boat out for a spin," and I'll be like, "What was he talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, cool, just bring it back. Oh, by the way, I built that hut for you," and I'm just like, "What are these guys talking about?" And apparently they talk about Valheim as if it's like their actual life now, and it's been kind of funny to see.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is that it is a small game, an indie game that has really taken off with all the major AAA disappointments that we've had over the past several years. That come out shitty. This is a game that's an early access, but is still very much playable. I haven't run into any glitches or anything major like that. Again, it's very scaled down. It's not really about the graphics. It's more about the gameplay. And
I'm watching somebody sail in a boat right now, so it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. Again, something you probably have to commit a lot of time to. But that, to me, was the bigger thing. Just a small developer that put this out that it's just blown the fuck up, because people just want games like this that work well. They feel like they're respected. They feel like they're getting good value, and it takes off. So, shout out to them. And I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more of it and trying to get into it a little.
Is there a proper release date?
The early access games usually don't set one until they're like really close to hitting 1.0. And then they'll usually do kind of a marketing push of some kind. Like they'll say, yeah, we're launching 1.0 of Valheim on September 21st, and you'll get that announcement on like September 10th or something like that.
So there's been nothing at the moment.
It might be an early. There's games that are in early access for years, though. So I mean, and especially if they're doing well, being in early access, the only thing that going to 1.0 could do is set standards that they may not be ready for. So I think that it's probably going to be in early access for quite some time.
Is there any monetization in the game?
No, not that I've seen. It's just $20, and that's it.
Yeah, there's no monetization.
Microtransactions.
I don't think they need any right now. It's a small team. I think they're Polish too, so they were working on this right alongside Cyberpunk. And if you asked me a year ago which one of them would have been like the bigger success story, I would not have said Valheim. But it seems that actually is the case, at least from how people are receiving it. It really, from what I've seen, though, it doesn't really seem like my kind of game personally, but it seems pretty solid for what it is. But then again, I was never really a Minecraft person either, so that might be...
See, that's the angle that would turn me off that type of game. Because I've got one up on Twitch right now. It's this girl, she's just... I don't know, she's building
Alex Zedra
something.
plays it.
Oh, sold. Why didn't you tell me that?
You do like you do have to go out and collect shit to be able to make the shit that you want to make. Like that's just the way it is. It is one of those type of games. But if you're talking about value, I saw people saying, "Is it worth $20?" I 100% think it's worth $20.
Yeah.
With the amount of time I've seen people sink into it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It probably it's not something I will probably get into myself, but I'm happy that it's
better
I'm happy
better
it's
than Animal Crossing.
So probably. But
more
can you
in line
fish?
with for games you've been interested in, Jeremy. I'd say this is probably closer to DayZ than anything else you've played.
DayZ does look really interesting. We still need to get around to playing that. It's all about time. We're gonna do that for premium members at some point. Mark and I are just gonna sit there for a few hours and probably bore the hell out of people because there's not a lot going on.
Die of thirst over and over again.
Yeah.
Of the 4 times I did runs through DayZ recently, 3 out of 4 I died of thirst. Once I got jacked by another human player who decided to steal my knife.
We should all play Rust. That's what we should play.
Yeah, Rust is kind of the same idea.
Rust is kind of the same idea, except you can really fuck with people and get fucked with, and it can get evil. So that would be fun to see us just get wrecked by a bunch of kids and also wreck a bunch of kids.
How many people can play at once on Rust?
10. Oh no!
Really?
Sorry. I was talking about Valheim.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know for Rust. Rust I've actually never played. I know about Rust, but I've never played it myself.
If anybody in chat knows, what's the maximum people we can get into a multiplayer for Rust? Because that would be that would be pretty fun.
Probably find that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rust is like a massively popular game.
There's so many great compilations of people getting griefed on Rust that like. It's just so funny because you collect all your shit and it is your shit, but if somebody comes and takes your shit, you're fucked. And you can just continue to fuck with people over.
Maverick Hunter said 4, no, Justin said 8, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It says that you can fit 300 to 400 people on a server. I don't know if that's the same as having like a party in that game, but again, I haven't played.
Somebody said, Jens Jurgensen said 350-ish. So the point I'm trying to make is that can we get a lot of the Geeks Gamers team, in there?
We can take a look at it.
Valheim would probably be the better thing to do for that because it's sort of the hot game that's happening right now. And like from what I gather, they're pretty similar.
Unpopular guy says
goes,
8 and a squad, but you can have multiple squads. Okay. Looks like something we could definitely throw together, get everybody in there to have a little fun. So we'll see what we can do.
Shout out Desire for the buck. Thank you, Desire. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys go check out Desire. He's been playing Warzone on Wednesday with the guys, and you guys got a win last week, right?
One on the final. What was it on Rebirth Island?
Yep. I shot a motherfucker through a wall.
How many wins?
Wasn't that after like you had the worst night of your life though?
How many wins is that for us total now? 3?
Oh no, we got quite a few since Desire started playing, right?
4, 5.
No. Yeah,
because I was there for 2.
Yeah, no, I think that's the first one they've actually had with Desire. I think.
Yeah, we got fucked over by the gas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because that one that they had that one locked up, and then the gas, they got hung up on that little hill right there. But yeah, Desire's nasty at the game, man. He's really good, and obviously Lethal and Josiah are good, and Brandon, he should be back next week. Everybody's been asking about Brandon, but we got a good Warzone team. That's
there's
why
always
me and
different
Ryan aren't
levels
there.
of good. Yeah, there's always different levels of good. Like Josiah and Lethal are like really good compared to me, and then Desire like he's at the level of autistically good. That's the next level up.
Yeah.
If
you're playing, if you didn't know Desire and he was like you're playing in a game, you would call him a lot of names that aren't allowed to be on Twitch now. If you're just like randomly in a lobby with him, you're like fucking loser. Never fucking leaves the house.
You're allowed to say hacker.
So that's definitely not the name I would call him. So.
Black Lotus 30 for Canadian $5. Yeah, but Skyward Sword is still a full game. Why shouldn't Nintendo sell it full price for a new generation?
I think I've made my argument.
You sure you don't want to rehash it?
Go to the tape. Go to the tape if you want. It's an upscale. It's not worth full price.
Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $5. I know this is random, but Jeremy, how would you feel if Florida became a country and Trump became king and named Ron DeSantos Hand of the King?
DeSantis. Yeah, I mean, at this point, that would be great, actually. And I'm living in the right state, but I personally believe it's going to be Trump and DeSantis 2024. That's what I think is going to happen, and that is an unstoppable ticket right there. That is an unstoppable ticket.
Samurai Vader for $5. I assume Jeremy's saying Nintendo fans are okay with being ripped off, so it's okay for Nintendo to exploit them. Remember, buy used and sell them.
That's literally every company, depending on your view of the company. Like some people think Android's ripping me off because I paid what $1,200, $1,300 for this fucking Note 20 Ultra. I mean, is that a ripoff by you? It's not to me, but I think you got ripped off if you paid for an Apple product, and maybe you didn't, and that's fine. Like, I think Apple makes shitty fucking phones. I hate them. But if it works for you and the money you spent on it, then more power to you.
I don't think they make shitty phones. I think they make shitty phones at that price.
My last two iPhones were hand-me-downs from my dad because he tends to upgrade his phone pretty frequently, and I just take his previous one. So I've been pretty happy with the amount of money I've spent on my last couple iPhones.
Yeah, I don't think Apple is worth $5 fucking. I would not buy an iPhone for $5 fucking. As long as Android's on the market.
Then I'd sell it to an idiot for $1,000.
Honestly,
yes,
I would definitely buy an Android phone for $5 and just like use it as a YouTube tablet essentially, or like podcast device just around here and not have to use my phone. I think that'd be all right.
Well, and I think
a lot of
people. I think a lot of people that have had Androids. And they kind of say, oh, they're not that great. It's because you haven't had a high-end Android phone. You probably got like a Boost Mobile fucking freebie or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
when you got one that's half the price of an iPhone. Yeah.
Honestly, when you have a Note 20 Ultra, you are literally holding the single greatest piece of technology in the smartphone industry, and it's not even debatable. It's just not. You can prefer the UI on Apple and the simplicity, and that's perfectly fine. But there is no debate as to which phone is better. It's not a debate.
I don't even make the argument that like my iPhone is better than any Androids. I honestly just have one because every member of my family has one, including X-Ray Girl, and they're like features that make communicating between iPhones pretty easy. So for me to switch, it would be making me the difficult one to get a hold of in like the group of people I use my phone to communicate with often. Yeah, I do have a dog.
I just wrote this with my stylus.
Yeah, well,
and I totally get that, you know.
But
Mark,
again, like I will also say that I don't make the argument to be like, oh, iPhone's better because I don't have any fan allegiance to it, and I don't use my phone for much other than like communicating and like watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts, which it functions. It does. I don't really play games on my phone, so that's fine.
Yeah,
the only game I have installed is Final Fantasy VI, and it's a weird looking version of it, but it's the best Final Fantasy though.
Yeah, and yeah, it's all about perspective, like Randy Tyson says right there. So there you go. So I read that one. Glinzer. Oh no, I did not read this one. Saruna House Rounded for $5. Did you all get a look at the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat movie? If so, what do you think? Any of you Mortal Kombat fans?
Looks fucking pretty. It looks really good.
Yeah, the writer of Wonder Woman 1984 scares me. Like that being a fact about that movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get too excited for it. However, produced by the director of the Saw movies means I think the action scenes will probably be pretty good. I did say this on Twitter, so I will be repeating myself, but that scene with Scorpion as a human that looked like it was kind of in like feudal Japan, I just want that movie. I want that dude playing human Scorpion and like just a hard R samurai ninja movie. Like that's the movie I want to see. And just every time they cut back to like Kano shooting a laser out of his eye and like Jack's CGI arms, I'm just like, I have a feeling I'm going to start tapping out during the more cartoony Mortal Kombat type stuff because I don't think it's going to be well written. But I think the action scenes might be worth watching. I'm gonna see it though. That was enough to make me want to watch it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of the movie was filmed where I live, and I noticed a lot of the places in the trailer as well. But I think they're going to play very loose with the lore and story. I think all the fight scenes are going to be fucking phenomenal though, and half the costumes look really, really good, and the other half a bit meh. If that thing at the end is Reptile, that's extremely disappointing. But
It's
Kung
gotta be.
Lao, fucking Scorpion, Sub-Zero, they look amazing.
No Johnny Cage though. That was
No
And
Johnny
they're gonna
Cage.
they're gonna have to work on the Scorpion Get Over Here.
I agree. It wasn't quite right.
It wasn't
that
good.
It was rough, and
Yeah.
I love that actor too. I think he's great. So that was probably just a bad take. But I think it was Tom from Midnight's Edge was saying that this script was actually like a first draft of the Long-Chi, is it the Marvel movie that's coming out with the dude from Kim's Convenience. Help me out here. The 10 Rings one or something.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, apparently this Mortal Kombat script was like a first draft of that they kind of retrofitted into being a Mortal Kombat thing. I'm pretty sure
this movie's been in development hell for years.
I don't know. I remember Tom saying that, and the same guy did write both. So like,
yeah. So for some reason, I see theory talks in the chat.
Yeah,
but like,
it's weird.
But when
I'm confused.
When I pull up it on StreamYard, it's Anomaly's profile picture.
Yeah.
But it's in the actual chat. It's like theory.
It's so weird.
I don't know what's going on, but it's very strange.
I saw that. I was thinking that maybe Anomaly changed the name of his channel. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize
So is this theories? Is this a new channel of his?
I pulled it up to look. There is a theory talks channel that has that profile picture, the one of him, not of Anomaly, and he's got a couple videos on there. It looks like
I'm about to text him.
I don't know.
Well, you pulled it up and it's got Anomaly's picture. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here right now? Like and then I looked at the feed and there's Star Wars Theory's picture. I'm like, okay, I'm really confused right now.
I don't get it either. I don't know if that's his.
So is Theory Talk Star Wars Theory?
All right, here we go.
Does he have a channel called Theory Talks also?
Theory,
like that?
text me if that's you.
So this is Theory Talks. This is a channel, and it's got a bunch of streams of him. So yeah, I mean, this is, but I don't know if that's it because I can't click on it anymore.
Maybe he has kind of like an incognito mode where he uses his Theory Talks name and then picks a random YouTuber to be the profile picture.
I don't know.
He's trying to be stealth in the chats.
I was like, what is going on here? But either way, what's up, Star Wars Theory? Even if it's not you. Glinzer for $5. Nintendo has become the McDonald's of video games. Profits have replaced efforts to evolve in hardware or software.
Say that one more time. I'm seeing Theory Talks again comment. Nintendo is the McDonald's of video games. Is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
What was the rest of it?
That Nintendo has become the McDonald's of video games. Profits have replaced efforts to evolve in hardware or software.
I don't really know if the hardware ever evolved. I mean, they've never been on the cutting edge of evolving hardware. They've always been software based.
No,
like the Genesis was more powerful than the Super Nintendo.
But I'll make the argument they did evolve hardware by making the Switch a hybrid system. Like that was an actual innovation, and that's actually why I bought a Switch. Like I was like, okay, that's a Nintendo system I actually want to buy. The last Nintendo system I owned prior to that was a GameCube. I guess I had a DS though, but I got my DS super cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I obviously don't agree with that. I mean, even when Nintendo does things that I'm not interested in, like the 3DS and the DS, I'm not a handheld, system person. I don't play mobile games that much. I don't do even Mario Kart mobile. I didn't play. And yeah, I know there's this meme about I like Call of Duty mobile. I don't play it as much as Ryan claims I do, but it is really good. But I don't play. Yeah, I don't play mobile games. But if it works for people, it works for people. Those DS systems are obviously massively successful for Nintendo, and but I don't think Nintendo's ever been on the cut. What I'm saying is just historically, Nintendo's never been this cutting edge hardware company. It's always been about the software. So even the Genesis was more powerful than the Super Nintendo, and the Super Nintendo destroyed it.
Even Wii, I'd argue, was kind of cutting edge as far as what they were doing. Like, I mean, granted, I don't like what they did. I didn't buy one, but the motion controls,
you gotta absolutely. Yeah,
I'm defending Nintendo here on this one. Like, I think they do innovate with hardware, even if their system power is usually pretty low. Even with the Switch. The Switch, though, I think was... the Switch, I think, was on par for the power that they would need for a portable system in 2017. I think having a portable system that's about as powerful as an Xbox 360 in 2017 is totally reasonable. I think that it's underpowered now, but it's 4 years later. So.
They innovated by selling GameCube discs that were very small, but in a really big box, and they continue that with Switch.
That's funny. The GameCube is probably one of my favorite Nintendo Switches, and it is probably the least innovative system they ever made. The only thing they did was make the controller button layout really fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, the GameCube's fantastic. Love the GameCube, but at the end of the day,
fucking C.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo is still, they're at the top of the industry, and they're not going anywhere, and they're producing some insanely popular games. Some games considered some of the best games in years. Games like Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, and people are loving their products. So I mean, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. I understand that, but the good news is there are PlayStations and Xboxes out there, and I've never told people that aren't hardcore Nintendo fans, like, a Nintendo can't be your only outlet for a video game console. Like, you need to have an Xbox or a PlayStation to complement if you're looking to just get into the gaming industry. Nintendo is a very niche thing. But even still, though, I personally I still think that if you just ask me what I'm interested in, a PC like I have, or just for gaming, a PC like I have, or just a PlayStation 5 and a Nintendo, I'll take the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo all day long.
I think if you learn mouse keyboard control, that'll turn around pretty quick, because I hate playing first person shooters on a controller now.
I get that. Goat of Duty with the mouse and keyboard has changed my perception on the greatness of PC.
And Goat of Duty actually kind of led me to making my Quake video. Because I was just like, this is just Quake 3, guys. Why don't we just play Quake? And then I started playing a lot of Quake and was like, I should just make a video on Quake.
Sean Pugh for $5. Zelda 2 was the worst since it wasn't completed, and they've sold 125 million copies as of December 2020.
Oh, it also came out in 1989, something like it. Zelda 2's been out for a while.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, he's talking about just as a franchise, I think. Just the overall franchise has sold 125 million copies.
The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS for $5. Hey, Jeremy. Christian from The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on YouTube and fellow Floridian. Keep up the good work, and hashtag Gary moved to Florida.
Nice. Everybody needs to move to Florida. Great here. It's wonderful here.
M. Shoop for $5. I'm going to petition Wikipedia to replace the page explaining cognitive dissonance with a montage of Jeremy discussing Nintendo.
Go for it. I mean, you do realize as long as I'm being talked about, that's all I care about. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative.
It's true. That's how Brie Larson feels as well. Darkside Droids for $2. Jeremy buys a $500 mic. Sounds like Mattel Barbie mic. Basically. Black Lotus 30 for Canadian $5. Employees worked on this Skyward Sword. Nintendo has to pay. Game price is not just made in a vacuum. They have to cover other expenses. I will say that the work going into doing Skyward Sword is likely not the same as the work involved in, say, something like Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild, and they're selling at the same price. So,
especially because I've made this point before, but every time there are fans that start doing the work for Nintendo, instead of just going to those fans and hiring them and contracting them for the work they've already done, they give them cease and desist warnings and then do a half-assed version of what those people were doing better. Whereas, again, the point of comparison I use for that, though, is Valve with Black Mesa. Black Mesa is a remake of Half-Life 1 that was just made by Crowbar Collective, which are a bunch of fans. Valve found out about it, the people who own Steam, and went to them and were like, hey, this looks pretty cool. Like, give us some licensing money for it, and there you go. We'll sell it on Steam and promote it. And, it's like now a fan favorite remake that was made by fans.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Black Lotus, they've set that price, and there's going to be a shit ton of people that go out and buy it because they want to play the game on Switch. So,
Disney does the same thing, by the way. They did it with Republic Commando and Nice Little Republic. Just cease and desist warnings instead of just being like, hey, why don't you come work for us and we'll all make a bunch of money together.
Well, the difference is that Disney bought into an IP that was pre-existing and a fan base that was supported by the IP before Disney bought it. Nintendo created these and has created the culture around it.
you could probably say Lucasfilm did the cease and desist, and like I honestly don't
But
think
again, but that's
Lucasfilm
still
was
under
super on board
no, but
with-
that's still under the Disney direction. Lucasfilm wasn't shutting these things down under George Lucas.
I don't know that I would make that argument. I don't know that they weren't, but I
They
also
weren't.
don't know that
They weren't. He encouraged it.
Well, how many Star Wars fan like remakes actually came out? Because I think that like
Heaps.
once.
They had a fucking
Yeah, I
website dedicated to it.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
George
really?
Lucas George Lucas actively supported these types of things, and when so the big difference is you can't make that comparison because Disney purchased Lucasfilm, meaning you purchased a pre-existing fan base, and it was ran a certain way by the guy that created it. And then they're sending cease and desist out for something that's been allowed. You know Nintendo doesn't allow this stuff. So if you're going to go out of your way and put all of these resources into something that you know they're going to shut down, that's your own fault. But for Lucasfilm to do it after it's already been grandfathered in by the guy that created it,
that,
just
like,
shows their shittiness.
Taking one step back from it, though, I think that both should just be allowed to the point that like you can release it if it's for free, or we can hire you to just release it for money, but we get some of the money also, and then let's all just make money together for a really good product.
I think
that
it's
will
a
support you
lot
in
more
developing.
complicated than that, though. I mean,
I don't-
copyright laws have changed, IP laws have changed. My attorney, for instance, tells me, like, even when there's been people that have been improperly using my brand, which I don't want to go after anyone because I think that that's punching down. My attorney has told me, like, you have to enforce your IP or you can lose it. Like, you have to take these steps to enforce it. You can't just actively let people do something. So you're saying like this is isolated, but again, Nintendo has a clear-cut policy. Rules are rules. I talk about this all the time on YouTube. If you're going to have rules, make sure they're clear and concise. If you have clear, concise rules, I will follow them. Whether you like the rule or not, at least it's clear and concise. Nintendo doesn't fuck around with this.
But,
you know that.
But I'm not saying that they should just let people make them and not do anything. But I think if they're going to do something like, say, that they did, which was release Mario 64 on the like 35th anniversary edition, they should have just gone to the people who already remade the entire game in Unreal Engine and just been like, hey, why don't we polish this up a bit and release your version that will run on Switch because Unreal is
because
a really
once
flexible
you
engine.
open that door, you're encouraging other people to do it, and they clearly don't like people doing it. So once you open that door, all you're doing is you're actively promoting, going, hey guys, continue to do the very thing we don't want you to do. It's a slippery slope. It's not isolated.
My argument is, why do you not want people to do that? Why do you not want people to be passionate enough about your product to take something old that you've made, modernize it for free because they're passionate about it, and then pay those people to make money together? I just don't see the downside.
It makes sense as a company to want to protect your intellectual property. It just does.
But I think protecting it would be making that offer, and if they say no, we're just going to release it on our own because we made this, then Nintendo can be like, okay, here's your cease and desist.
That's fine, but the point is there's no blurry line here. There is a definitive line as to what a company that owns the intellectual property allows. If you go against something that's actively determined that is not allowed, that is your fault. Period. It's a rule. And you know the rule, and they own the IP. If you then take the liberty to go against something that has clearly been defined, that is your fault, not the company's fault.
I don't know. Like I still think
it's not. It's literally a fact. If you are choosing to break a law, knowing that it will be enforced by the intellectual property owner, that is your fault.
Then why is Valve still like as successful as they
because
are?
Valve is not Nintendo. Valve has their own rules, and they are allowed to make their own rules with their intellectual property, and they have made the decision to support it in that way.
That's a better rule. That is better for everybody. It's like it's better for Valve because Valve made money on Black Mesa. It's better for the people who develop Black Mesa because they made money on Black Mesa, and it's better for Half-Life fans because we got to play Black Mesa.
And that works great. Congratulations to Valve. Go support them.
I did. I bought it.
Okay, then what's the big deal? Valve has their way of using their intellectual property. Nintendo has theirs. What works for one company doesn't always work for the other, and vice
what
versa.
I will criticize about one company, I will not criticize about another.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you cannot fault the company for having clear, definitive guidelines when individuals choose to break those rules that are clearly defined. That is up to the individual to not be a dumbass.
Sure.
All right. Diego Flores for Peruvian $5. I love how heated the argument became, and Ryan is stroking his beard thinking I have guaranteed my promotion. and as in the picture. It's thank you, Diego. Appreciate that. Yes, my promotion is complete. Darkside Droids for $2. What is 6 Days in Fallujah? Great segue to a video game topic before we hit the rest of the super chats.
Hang on. I like what Jeremy is saying, but didn't he fall for the whole free melee shit? Again, that was a bad decision because of the pandemic that was implemented.
Well, Nintendo does things the way they do them, Jeremy. If you don't like it,
allowed
it.
No, Mark. No, you are not listening to the actual context. This is something that was allowed, and then the fans had to change it.
I was joking on you now.
Okay, that's fine. But it was something that Nintendo was allowing, but then with the pandemic shutting it down, then the fans had to alter it. And I was saying it was a tone-deaf decision on Nintendo's part because the fans had to adapt to the pandemic being shutting everything down, so they created the mod so they could continue to do it. So I did say Nintendo was wrong on that because of the context. So yes, if something had been going on for years, which was allowed, and then the pandemic changed the structure of how it couldn't happen, then the fans made, exceptions based on the situation we found ourselves in. Nintendo needed to adapt to that, and they didn't. And I think they were wrong, very wrong. And if there's more context to that I'm missing, people can inform me. But based on the information I was given, Nintendo made the wrong call, 100%.
There you go. So 6 Days in Fallujah. You may remember this from a decade ago when it was supposed to be made. 6 Days in Fallujah is a game that was supposed to be made based on events that occurred during the war in Iraq. And it received a lot of pushback because in 2009, when it was announced, we were still not very far removed from the events that actually took place. And the game eventually got canceled. But now it is evidently making a comeback, but people are still pissed about it. One of the most controversial video games of the 2000s is being released. 6 Days in Fallujah is being revived by Destiny and Halo veterans. 6 Days in Fallujah, the controversial shooter set during the Iraq War, is finally coming out nearly 12 years after it was first announced. According to a news release from the game's publisher, the tactical game will be based on true stories gathered from the members of the military as well as Iraqi civilians who lived through the Second Battle of Fallujah in 2004. They talk about the history of it. Like I said, it was announced in 2009. However, multiple groups came forward to criticize the concept of the game. People saw it as a way to trying to drum up, American patriotism. You're trying to recruit people to the army with these video games type of story, which you hear that, thrown around against Call of Duty all the time, that they're like glorifying the military as recruitment.
You basically hear it about every game except for Spec Ops: The Line, like every military shooter. Spec Ops: The Line is kind of the only one where people who tend to not like the military very much are totally fine with it because the military are the bad guys in Spec Ops: The Line. Spoilers.
I remember when they were pushing that narrative really hard around the times of Modern Warfare 2. It's like, okay, who's the fucking main villain of Modern Warfare 2? An American general. Yep. These people are retarded.
Well, they don't play the games before they make the argument, though, is the problem.
Exactly. They're so dumb.
Obviously, that is what's kind of happening here. But I think in this case, the 6 Days in Fallujah controversy appears to me to be mostly about the developer's statement or the game director. Is it? Or is he I think he's one of the leads of the project. He made a statement saying basically that they don't want to make it a political game, that they're not going to be tackling why America was in Iraq to begin with, or
correct, which they shouldn't.
Yeah, to a degree, I agree with that. Mostly because I'm like, okay, if you're starting the game in Fallujah, then are we doing flashbacks to Bush and Cheney talking about going into the war? That's kind of stupid. Where I disagree with them though is apparently they're removing use of white phosphorus grenades, which apparently was a pretty key point of the strategy that eventually the Marines shifted from. I think they called it shake and bake tactic, where they throw a white phosphorus grenade in a building to get people to run out. But because white phosphorus is a chemical weapon, technically, it's since been sort of removed from American military tactics. And he's apparently not including those, so people are kind of making the argument that he's trying to soften what are effectively war crimes that were committed in those battles.
Oh, that is such bullshit.
I mean,
yeah, because they fucked either way, right? If they
yeah,
did,
like
then you'd be like, well, you're glorifying this.
Mhm.
And then if they remove it, you get fucked because now you're not accurately representing it.
It's
I
so
mean, like-
ridiculous that this is where we are.
I
Well,
know,
but
like,
I mean,
the
like,
fact that this is an argument is just dumb. Like,
well, I don't agree. This is one that I actually think is a little bit complicated. I don't necessarily agree with the people that are dumping on the game saying, oh, this game absolutely needs to be political. But I also think that if you're going for historical accuracy, for especially recent history, I think you kind of have to go all the way. I don't think softening anything is a good idea. So I sort of agree and disagree with both sides on this one. It's not a simple one. Like,
this is like that fucking South Park where they remake Private Ryan and they take away the guns and give them walkie-talkies.
yeah, well, that is like, I think, egregious. Like that. Well, yeah. Wait, no, that was on South Park. It was E.T. that actually did that, like changing the guns to walkie-talkies.
And I do think, like, in 2009, it just, we're used to things being set on Vietnam War and World War II and all this shit. When this was announced in 2009, you're talking, 5 years, 5 years
after the
apart
actual
from
battle,
this
yeah.
battle, where you got people who people gave their lives that are still dealing with the grief and the fallout from that, and it being portrayed that way. I'm not in that position, so I can't really say how I would feel about it, but there was a lot of pushback from, I think I saw a comment in there about families of the vets.
Okay, but
yeah.
What about all the movies that came out way before the game that was still pretty close to that subject matter?
I think anytime you're tackling a historical event, anything that you're changing in order to portray either side in a specific way is dangerous ground to be walking on. Is kind of where I'm coming from with it.
I
Because
get that.
I understand that if you have, like, I think actually in the article you were showing, they show Sergeant, I think Cortez was the guy's name. Anyways, if you pulled it back up, there's like a guy who you see the real guy and then like his character model in game, because the story was written based on interviews that they had had with a bunch of the
Over
actual
100
Marines.
people, over 100 Marines and Iraqi civilians, and a lot of different perspectives on everything.
Yeah, so
that happened.
if it's a lot of different accounts, then they probably have a pretty good picture of what actually happened. And I think that if you're going to have that much information, then you are sort of you sort of have the responsibility to not really dumb anything down at all. But because you have these people voluntarily being involved in the project, they might be saying, yeah, but please don't show me throwing a white phosphorus grenade into a building that had children in it. Even though, like, I mean, knock on wood, let's hope that specific thing didn't happen. But if that did happen and it was told, I honestly think the guy's biggest mistake was that he made a statement about it at all. Like, I think that he probably should have just been like, yeah, we're going to portray everything as accurately as we can, but ultimately we're making a video game, a fictionalized representation of the game. We weren't physically there. We talked to a lot of people who were. So we're going to try to be as respectful as we can and be as close to reality as possible, and not gone into, yeah, well, we're going to soften this up a bit, and we definitely don't want to show the US doing this because we don't want our boys to look bad. And I'm like, don't say that. Because the second you say that, you get the games journalist who just wants an anti-American military game to be made to
you just gave him
and then on the other side, if you go full all in and be like, yeah, we're gonna make our boys look incredible, then you've got like people on the other side, the like more conservative end, just being like, yeah, that's amazing, we're gonna have this be great, and the SJW-ish side has an argument to be like, yeah, but like you guys are cheering for just like lies and propaganda at this point. And if they did change a whole bunch of facts, then the people who we would traditionally be disagreeing with are right, and I don't really like it when those guys are right. So I don't know. I think it's a complicated one though. But I think honestly the best thing the guy should have done is like, yeah, we're releasing the game finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I agree with
we're
that.
redoing it, and then be like, what are you doing with the game? You'll see when you play it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy should have given zero detail.
At the end of the day, I think you should not listen to activists and blue-haired land whales on Twitter. I think you should tell the story you're going to tell. I believe that this is going to be bogged down by the Twitter mob, though, if it picks up traction.
It probably will, but it might end up being a bit of a nothing.
And that might help it too.
You'd think that a 10-year break, you'd think that after it was canceled in 2011, that a 10-year break maybe would have slowed that down. But as soon as it was announced, boom, everybody was right back on.
Why?
I don't think it was as soon as it was announced. It was when the guy did the interview where he said that he was going to be changing some things to not.
Nah, dude. No, it was really? As soon as they brought it back that people started talking about it. Then that interview happened. Then Neil Druckmann tweeted about it. Then it just created another news cycle.
Well, Neil Druckmann tweeted about it because the second someone says, I don't want to make my game political, of course, Druckmann's going to be like, oh, well, yeah, you should make your games political because everyone only hated The Last of Us 2 because Ellie's gay, by the way. By the way, watch Critical Drinker's new Last of Us video. It's hilarious.
Why was the game cancelled back in the day? Was it just like
because of the backlash?
Konami,
because of the backlash.
I don't think it was necessarily backlash. I think it was Konami was just like, I guess, yeah, you're right. You could say it was backlash. But I think the
reaction, they said because of the reaction that we've seen in the United States, we're not moving forward with
the backlash, though, I believe in 2009 was from the right. It was from people that were pro-military. That was like, you're like making a story out of this already. Like, have you no respect for the soldiers who lost their lives? It was from the more conservative end that were like, this is a game that shouldn't happen, and Konami folded. Where now it seems like the pushback is coming from the other direction of people being like, you're not making a America's Evil game, so cancel it. And like, I'm just like, oh my god, just release the game.
Yeah, just release the game.
Let us play it and let us make our own opinions of what they actually made. But
I don't think anyone plays a video game expecting it to be 100% down to the last fiber accurate with its historical game.
I absolutely do.
That's the tricky thing. Sorry, that's the tricky thing though about making a game is saying that
was being sarcastic. Being very sarcastic.
No, I was actually just responding to Lethal. I said that's the tricky thing with picking a real event that actually happened not very long ago that you're saying is going to be a realistic representation of a historical event which occurred, but then also saying, yeah, but we're gonna soften some edges here and there. I think that was the worst thing possible to say, because if you just released it and the edges were softened where you wanted to soften them, the only people that would actually know are the people who were there, and everyone else. Like, I mean, any games journalist, like purple-haired person with like half a shed head, or a conservative journalist who writes about this game that was not in that battle and starts talking about it not being a correct representation of what happened in that battle is talking out of their ass. Because like ultimately, if you weren't there, you do not know how a battle actually went. They can try.
Even if you are there, you have a certain perspective.
Yeah. So the only exactly like you have your perspective of what went down because you're not you're not omniscient. But the second someone says we are going to soften this thing here, remove this there because we don't want to show this, and we want to show this, but not too much of it, that's when you get people thinking, oh, okay, so this is just propaganda. And I don't know. It's I don't think the guy should have said anything. Yeah. Same with that. I mean, I kind of made the same argument about Miranda's butt. Like, I think that had they not gone for the Twitter points and not told anybody about it, a lot of people wouldn't have noticed until people were doing frame-by-frame analysis of, like, original versus remake.
Miranda's butt.
Yeah. Benjamin Bowen for $5. Mark and Jeremy still a better love story than Finn and Rose.
Well, it's not stiff competition there. Jeremy and I do have better chemistry.
Did you have to say stiff competition?
Yeah, it was weird.
Really? No self-awareness from Mark.
I know what I said.
Ty Timmons for $2. Lucasfilm is poop. Beep, bop, boop.
They are.
Thank you. Laughably below average Kinnell for $2.99 says, I'm boycotting Valheim. Not enough diversity. I think you can make your guy black, but I don't know. I definitely didn't, but I think
I was just watching an Asian girl stream it.
What, Lethal?
I was just watching an Asian girl streaming it.
There you go. But thank you, laughably below average Kinnell. Jade Shadow for $2.99. Jeremy sucks. There. Thank you, Jade Shadow.
I agree with that.
Charlie Spur for $5. Anomaly is better. Shades. Thank you, Charlie Spur. Then Charlie Spur for $5. Plot twist. Theory is an Australian who is Anomaly Inc. That's why I've never seen an Anomaly face reveal.
He never Theory never texted me. I don't think that's him.
I don't think it is either. I don't think it is either.
Why the fuck did YouTube get rid of that thing where you could just click on someone's profile?
I know, man. It's so stupid.
Because it was too easy for people to get harassed.
I reckon it's easy to harass them now because I can pretend to be anyone I want because you can't click on the picture and prove it.
You can incite harassment, but it's harder to harass. Fruit Loops for 3,000. Fruit Loops 3,000 for £5. Jeremy got excited there.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, one of the best things about Nintendo is that their games hold their value when you trade them in. Xbox and PlayStation games depreciate like crazy.
Big facts.
I'd say it just depends what it is, but yeah, for the vast majority, yeah.
Let's see how much longer physical games are even a thing, too, though. Like,
well, that doesn't change the argument.
It will once there's no such thing as physical games to trade.
But all we can talk about is what we know right now, though.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So when you use Mark's logic against him, he does immediately stop, as opposed to Jeremy.
No. When you say things that are accurate, I immediately stop.
No.
When you try to hammer home straw mans and change the subject constantly, I will continue to argue.
What's a straw man I made? Name a straw man I made.
That accompanies allowed. Can you play Call of Duty in 4K on your $100 PC?
I was 100%.
Can you play it on your Nintendo Switch? I'm not getting a Nintendo Switch to play Call of Duty. I'm getting it to play Fortnite.
Again, when you ask me a question, of can you play Call of Duty on your Switch in 4K, I ask, does Call of Duty exist on the Switch? That's a factual question.
Jeremy.
Right? Is it not?
Our only discussion was about online multiplayer and whether or not you have to pay to play online multiplayer.
But then that's not as simple as that.
We're not getting back in.
Wait a minute. That's why I bring the sarcasm into it, because you simplify the argument.
Jeremy, never ever be sarcastic with me in the middle of an argument.
Then don't bring a simplified argument.
That is not. I'm not mad at you. I'm requesting because I will think that you're being serious.
Right, but don't make a simplified argument with me, because you can't compare a PC to a Nintendo Switch and the online capabilities, because it's far more complicated.
Yeah, because you have to pay for the online play on one, and you don't have to pay for the online play on the other.
And you have to pay a lot of money for a powerful system that can run the games.
No, you don't. You can.
Yeah, you do.
But no, you don't.
I literally just had a computer that wouldn't run Phasmophobia that I paid $1,300
That's because
for.
Your GPU burned out. You had a broken computer that couldn't run.
That's my point. It's complicated. It's not as simple as buy this piece of shit and play video games on it.
Run Halo 3 on a red-ringed Xbox 360 then.
That's my point. It's not as complicated.
This Nintendo Switch got a cracked screen. Why the fuck don't it play? That's just like
it's not as simple as, hey, your Switch can't do this, but your PC can.
Yeah, I'm gonna chuck my Nintendo Switch across the room, pick it up, and be like, I can't run Mario Odyssey anymore.
Mark, listen, never be sarcastic.
Yeah, you're just being sarcastic. Never be sarcastic with me. I can't understand sarcasm. Are you really gonna throw a Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I might.
Don't bring an oversimplified argument to me if you don't want a sarcastic response.
Charlie Spur for $2. You need to actively enforce your trademark.
Yes, you do. That's something, unfortunately, I've had to learn.
Except for the companies who don't and are like okay with it.
Drew G for $5.
Jeremy just bit his tongue there. I saw that. I'm not that.
Drew G.
I'm not. I'm just like, you have to enforce your trademark. You just do. Like, that's a fact. That's a trademark policy. I've learned it the hard way.
You can do it by taking your fans who
oversimplified argument. At the end of the day, you have to enforce your trademark. You absolutely do. If you have paid to have it enforced, or if you've paid to have a trademark, you have to enforce it. You can sit there and go, well, it doesn't matter if this or that.
Okay, fine. I agree with that. But how you enforce it is where I find
And that's fine, but different companies enforce things differently.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you have to enforce your trademark.
Okay, forget it. Speaking of video games.
Speaking of video games, Drew G for $5, a tip and a swig for the Florida man. And that Gary beard is coming along, Ryan. Well, thank you. What's the most treasured game cartridge you guys own?
Cartridge?
Yeah, he means just game.
Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. But I got called out the other day, and I can't say who I got called out by. But
I can.
I know you can, but you can't. But behind me right there is Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. And I was talking to a pretty well-known YouTuber yesterday, and we were talking about different things in our collections. And I said, my Super Mario Kart is my most prized possession. And they said, oh yeah, your player's choice Super Mario Kart. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You noticed that? And they sent me a picture of the original, not the player's choice. So I have the player's choice, which is the like the million sellers. I don't have the original, and I got put on blast. So if you're watching right now, respect. I was like, damn, man, I got nothing. You fucking just put me on blast. So, but yes, my Super Mario Kart, I love it.
I don't really have a lot of old games. I've sold a lot of them or gave them to other people or whatever. So I don't have anything old like that. Of the games I have, the coolest things like the fucking Steelbook Witcher 3 game. That's about it.
I'm thinking.
Kingdom Farts something.
I actually do. I don't have it here. I haven't actually had it in like where I live for years, but over at my aunt's place, because my little cousin lives there and I hang out with him pretty often, I still have over there Kingdom Hearts 1 when it was Squaresoft before it was renamed. So that's pretty cool.
There you go. Mark?
Probably my launch day copy of Metal Gear Solid, mostly because that's one of the few games where the actual box plays into the game itself. Because there's a scene in the game where you have to find Meryl's frequency, and the colonel says that it's on the back of the CD case. And the first time you play it, you're looking through your items menu in the game and trying to figure out, like, what CD case do I have? But then you realize it's the physical CD case, and in one of the screenshots on the back, it's Meryl's frequency. So
those are your like the Metal Gear games are among your favorite of all time, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Metal
It's
Gear
definitely the series that got me very, very passionate about gaming, and sort of got me out of being just like a really big movie fan and more into focusing on video games. Because
where do you stand on the OG Metal Gear games, like the one for NES and all that? Like, do you like those?
I like Metal Gear 2 a lot. Not Metal Gear Snake's Revenge, because that's like a non-canon American-made one that I heard is really bad. I've actually never played it. The NES version, though, I've never finished. I have it over there. But the actual NES version is a port of the MSX game, and there are some differences.
I don't remember it being great I I just played it when I was young.
It's a little rough. Metal Gear 2, which if you have Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence on PS2 or either of the HD collections, either being like the Vita version, Vita? I think it's Vita. Yeah, the Vita version or like the PS3 or 360 version. That version of Metal Gear Solid 3, in the title menu, there's both Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. And Metal Gear 2, you can see a lot of what turned into Metal Gear Solid, like a lot of the gameplay elements. And so it's a little bit easier to go back to. But, and the story is quite good, actually, too. So, yeah, Metal Gear 2 I recommend. But Metal Gear 1, I think you can kind of read a synopsis, and that was definitely a lot of experimentation going on Kojima's part. It was neat that he made stealth kind of the main thrust of the game instead of action, because action games were sort of what were big at the time, and there really wasn't such thing as a stealth game. But it's more of a historical piece than
best Metal Gear game. Go one right now. Which one's the single best?
Metal Gear Solid 3. I was thinking like that would be hard for me to answer, but no, it's Metal Gear Solid 3. The subsistence version though, because the original Snake Eater camera is rough. And X-Ray Girl and I are actually playing that on my channel Thursdays, usually at 7 p.m., but sometimes it is affected by her schedule. So Thursdays on Mark the Cyborg's channel, you can watch us play Metal Gear 3, and we just killed the end. Isn't that right, JoJo?
Yep.
All right, speaking of video games, what's up now?
Get fucking wrecked.
Dex Luther for Canadian $5. It's not about. I didn't even finish reading the super chat before I realized it, so that's good. It's not about what they allow or not. If they allow it at all, they can lose any legal right over their IP. I think in the cases of some of these situations, it's a little more complex.
There's no doubt.
I'm more talking about contracting the people who are already making fan content. So it's more like they make fan content, they start it, you step in and say, hey, we'll send you a cease and desist if you don't stop this, or You can come bring this work over here. We'll pay you scale, or like whatever scale is in Japan, like minimum wage for game development, and help you polish this up and then release it for a reasonable price.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. Like, if you want to say Nintendo are like overly, ridiculous, I'm not arguing that at all. But I don't feel sorry for anybody that actively goes against Nintendo, knowing very well that they're going to strike you down. They're just going to do it. So don't fucking fuck with them. It's their IP, and they're dicks, but they have the right to be dicks, and you can hate them for it. But when you actively go against them and you get hit, I'm not going to feel sorry for you. But let's criticize them. That's fine if you want to for that, because they are dicks about it, but they are well within their rights.
Yeah, and the idea that a fan make of a Mario Kart game that's not getting any money in any way, shape, or form, that they're going to lose the IP rights to Mario because of that, it's not reality.
No, that's not reality. But it's kind of like it's like, okay, what if I right now re-upload PewDiePie's Coco to this channel and then I get a strike for it, and I'm gonna be like, oh, YouTube's being dicks. Well, I mean, they are. But I literally knew that they were going to do it before I did it. You know what I mean? So, like, who's the idiot, really?
Well, what if you re-uploaded the Mortal Kombat trailer to your channel and didn't monetize it?
That's really up to the studio. Do we know what the studio is going to do?
Jeremy, you kind of did what I'm talking about with Fact Blast, though. Like you sort of just like he was already making Fact Blast, and then you, instead of being like cease and desist, that's the Geeks and Gamers IP, and that's my likeness. You said, hey man, like come here, we'll help promote this.
And I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm also saying that there's nothing wrong with what Nintendo does because it works for them. And individual companies have the right to make the decisions that work best for their brand. That's all I'm saying.
I will often argue on the point of what is the most consumer friendly thing to do within reason. Like obviously if I was going to say Nintendo should just give away all their games for free to everybody, then Ryan would actually have an argument for me being communist. I'm not saying that, but I think that I try to make the argument that they should be consumer friendly to a degree that is at least in line with the industry standards set by pretty much everyone else in the industry. Which,
but that's not Nintendo, it's why, man. Nintendo does not follow the standards.
I don't see that as a valid justification to be like, oh, it's Nintendo, they're different, so cool. I was like, well,
but we know that like they are different, and I've said that's their positives and their negatives.
They're still like, if you take a step back though, they're still a company who makes video games, so I think we should hold them to the same standards as all the other companies who make video games.
I mean, but we do when does Nintendo release halfway made games and then release full price DLC to complete the full game? Have they ever done that? No, they've literally never done that.
I would make the argument that all Smash Brothers characters are overpriced DLC, but
that's not the point. Like you're reaching. Like they have never released a half-made game and then charged you full price DLC to complete the game.
They do very often take games that they've made, change a few things, and then 5 years later release it again for full price. And but
there's no changes. Like I can buy Mario Galaxy is literally the same game on the Wii that it is on the Switch, except for the motion control. So they didn't add anything to the game. So I don't have, if I, as a fan of Mario Galaxy, I don't have to buy the Switch version to enjoy Mario Galaxy.
I'm not trying to make the argument that they're the worst company in the industry. I just think that there's a lot of things that Nintendo gets a pass on that other companies do not. And I don't know that Nintendo, very often at least, does enough to make up for that in other areas. But anyways,
Nintendo eliminated gender in Splatoon 3, did they?
Jeremy,
Splatoon 3's post-apocalyptic world destroys the concept of gender. Gender is irrelevant to Inklings now.
Did we ever have gender in Splatoon? Is the first question.
You could be
Instead of asking players to pick a boy or girl Inkling, it simply gives the players the option to pick their style.
That's garbage.
Jeremy's gonna redact everything said about Nintendo now.
Yeah, fuck Nintendo.
Yeah. But thank you, Yellow Flash, for letting us know that. From the Streamlabs donation for $3 from Escapegoat. For Ryan's beard and Mark's doggy, I have 3 dogs myself, a cat, and 1 chicken. Is this Jay?
I have 2 dogs that both act like cats.
Yeah. But thank you, Escapegoat. We appreciate that. Thank you over at the Streamlabs. Sanctuary of Geeks, not really related, but I'm interested to know if either of you know what Mark Hamill's take on Gina's firing is. He's probably completely fine with it. If I had to guess.
I mean, we don't have to guess, and I mean, with her being for her assumed to be a Trump supporter, I'm sure Mark Hamill doesn't want her anywhere near Star Wars.
Yeah,
but that's just an assumption based on his social media activity.
You all right, Mark?
I'm just of the mind that shouldn't really matter. Like
it shouldn't. It
really don't care
shouldn't.
who any of my coworkers vote for. Like I don't even ask.
Is it because you don't want to talk about your prime minister?
Well, no, like honestly, like to be fair, I did not even vote in the last election because I didn't really care all that much. But I never understood why people put so much weight on someone's political ideology if it doesn't affect their like moment to moment interactions with you. I mean, Gina Carano to me seems like a super sweet person. So who she wrote on her mail-in probably ballot, I don't think should really affect how you deal with her interpersonally. And,
she voted in person.
She voted in person.
Oh, okay.
At a beach, evidently.
To be fair, I said probably, but I don't know. I
if you want to know for sure, instead of speculating like Mark,
I don't
watch
really,
the Gina Carano interview.
Oh, there you go. Oh, is that how you know?
Yeah. Actually, that's exactly how we know.
It's not like she told me.
I don't know. I thought she might have been more vocal about it in the past.
Nah, she said it in the Ben Shapiro interview. She was talking about going and voting in person and how odd that was.
How surprised she was that she could just be like, "Yes, I'm Gina Carano. This is my address." They're like, "Welcome in," instead of having to show an ID. Rooftop Korean wasn't at the Capitol either for $5. I'm an Army vet. I think the story of Fallujah should be told in game. For facts about the battle, check out the book House to House by David Balavia. Well, there you go. From an Army vet himself. Thank you, Rooftop Korean, who wasn't at the Capitol.
That's so fucking funny, man.
Benjamin Bowen for $5. Marks must be jealous of all that shit that comes out of his mound.
Yes.
And then follows up for a $2 super chat. Asterisk mouth.
Must be jealous.
But didn't fix the marks.
For the record, I own a Switch.
Mark, are you jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth?
I mean, I think I say beautiful words. So yeah, sometimes aspects of my personality are jealous of the brilliant things I say.
I wouldn't trade Mark for the biggest Nintendo simp. I can tell you that right now.
Jamer's already got that covered, so why would you want that?
No, I mean absolutely. I don't want people. I don't want people that'll agree with me. I like the fact that Mark challenges me and doesn't see eye to eye with me. But his gaming knowledge is far greater than mine. So,
Diego Flores for Peruvian $10. Also, Mark is not taking into account that Japan has even more draconian IP and trademark laws than the United States. That's part of the reason they're so aggressive.
Sure.
I don't know that to be true, but
I'm not a big fan of a lot of the licensing laws in Japan based on what they have done to properties I like. It's kind of one of the reasons why there's never been like a really solid Berserk anime, because the rights for Berserk are sort of all over the place. Or I mean, the 1997 one was good, but it stopped after like the second big arc and was never really followed up on. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know that much about Japanese IP law, but I still think ultimately there shouldn't really be a lot stopping them from finding a company that are like a group of people who are being passionate fans and making something awesome, and then saying, "Hey, you want to come work with us?" Because honestly, that's how a lot of people get game development jobs, but not often by using other people's IP, but by making a mod or an indie game. They do something and then, you know, they get noticed, and then a bigger company comes and says, "Hey, we like the work you did here. Come work for us. Here's money."
There you go.
I continue to see people talk about Mark and defending CDPR. He never defended CDPR. He never defended them.
I did in respects, but I did not blindly defend them, nor did I deny any of the things they've done wrong.
People to not buy the game at the end of his review.
And I still do not think you should buy Cyberpunk 2077. If you're not super excited to play it and do not care about the story, like if you're worried about it being spoiled, then maybe play it. But right now is not a good time to buy that game, unless I recommended to a coworker buy it because he said that he saw it for $30 at Best Buy. And he's like, "Should I get it for my PS5?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, but don't play it till November. So even if I'm recommending people to buy the game, I'm saying don't buy it for full price and don't play it until they fix it. So yeah, not a shill.
Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $2. Mark, is Final Fantasy Tactics on Steam?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't mind checking though, because I will buy it right now if it is.
Cal G for $2. Nano Machines, son.
Yeah, that's a Metal Gear Solid 4 reference or meme.
Organic Vistas for $10 doesn't say anything, but thank you very much. Charlie Spur for $5. If you repeatedly fail to pursue uses of your trademark, you can lose your trademark. Thank you, Charlie Spur. Organic Vistas for $5. Phone rep for merch at Disney Online told me the sales are dropping online. I called to complain at Kathy.
Well, the IP thing though wouldn't how would they prove that you failed to protect your trademark though? Like, does someone have to charge you for being like, hey, these people made fan content that you didn't cease and desist? Give us your trademark. How would that work?
I don't know. I don't know the details of it. I just know I had people using my likeness to slander the brand, and I was told you need to enforce this if they don't stop, because you can, if you don't enforce your trademark, you can lose your trademark. No, again, I'm small. I'm nothing compared to Nintendo.
Even still, I would absolutely agree if people were making games using Nintendo assets that disparage Nintendo, and we're trying to be yeah, look at how shit this company is, then I could see them being very reasonable to cease and desist. My issue is more with them, that Mario 64 Unreal version, and it looked awesome. It looked really incredible, and then you compare it to the 30 frames a second version they released on Switch, and it's why didn't you guys just contract the dudes who already overhauled all the textures in your game and put it in a modern engine? Why release just a bare bones emulation? I don't know. It's that's more what I disagree with.
All right. Louis G for $5. I remember playing Halo 1 and 2, then go knock down doors early in the morning in Iraq. Fun times. There you go. So you're saying the video games made you that way? Is that what you're saying, Louis G?
You might have been playing Halo 2 in Iraq.
I know.
Oh.
I just kidding.
As I told you, I don't work with sarcasm very much.
I know. You haven't installed that mod yet, Mark. We understand. We'll work on it. Jeremy's muted.
He's literally Tars from Interstellar.
There's a strong argument towards me being autistic. Okay, I don't know that I am for sure. But
Jesus Christ!
I've had
anyone who admits it, you can basically, they are. If they say, there's a chance I could definitely be on the spectrum. Okay, got it.
Did that remind you of Alex Jones? Or I'm kind of retarded.
I mean, I know we can't say that word on YouTube, but yeah, I basically have that same sentiment.
Lethal just said it.
You're thinking of Twitch.
Yeah, you're thinking of Twitch.
Either way, we should probably not say.
I've been calling people retards all night.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've got the parking sticker for it, so you're not being inaccurate.
You can say arsler.
I'm kind of arsler.
Thank you, Mark. Benjamin Bowen for $5. Just messing with you guys. Been subscribed to G&G and just subscribed to you other guys' channels. Ryan still sucks though. Well, thank you, Benjamin. We appreciate that. Glad for checking out. I'm glad you're checking out, everybody. Liquid Nitrogen for $2. What's the best Terminator movie? And I'm not doing this today.
Watch literally any other eepisode of this show.
Yeah.
All right. But that is all. It's been 3 hours. What have you guys been playing this week? Start with Jeremy.
We've been playing 3 hours now?
I know.
That's why I've been
arguing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I've been slowly looking like I'm dying.
Super Mario 3D World. We played that for premium membership, and it was probably very entertaining for all of you. It was very difficult for us because of the terrible online lag, which again, I've looked up, and apparently people have had minor lag issues. No one has experienced what we experienced. No one. So I don't know what the deal was, but playing it single player mode is fantastic. It's a great game.
I mean, it's not like we have any problems like that when we play Mario Kart.
Yeah, but we were getting a connection warning before we even started. Yeah. So we should have. again, that's Nintendo though. We were thinking like, shitty Nintendo, but we were getting that warning before we even started, so we probably should have looked into that a little more. But whatever, we went in there and people were entertained. But we played that. I played it, the solo part of it, and it runs great. It's a great port. And played Among Us last night. Was it last night? No, 2 nights ago, Thursday night, with Gary and the Geeks and Gamers team. So good stuff.
Yeah, I did all those things as well, and then I also played Assassin's Creed Valhalla for like an hour and a half on Twitch the other day. That's all I've been doing. Mark, what have you been playing? Other than every God of War.
Yeah, well, not I guess that the cat's out of the bag. I guess in my God of War video now. So I finished God of War: Chains of Olympus last night. I started playing God of War 1, and I'm probably just gonna marathon through the rest of that game today. My goal is to finish all of the God of War action games, like everything but Dad of Boy, by the end of this week. So I've still got 5 games left to play to hit that goal. And then I've been writing my script as I go, which I don't usually do, but because this is so many games that are often pretty similar, if I don't write about each game as I finish each one, I'm gonna forget the differences between them. But I also beat a boss that I was stuck on in Neo 2. It's this snake thing with like little snake arms. But I posted the kill of that on my channel. So if you go to the Mark the Cyborg channel, you can see me kill that one. And the last couple seconds of it, or minutes, I guess, are pretty heart-wrenching because I have like this much health. And
pretty intense, huh?
Yeah. I wish I was wearing my smartwatch because it would have told me what my heart rate was. And I was like, man, that would have been interesting data because I think I was probably at like 185.
Everybody needs to go watch Mark's Quake retrospective. It is a fucking phenomenal video. It's well done. He makes amazing content. Please go check that out. Watch it in its entirety. Like the video. Share that thing out. Who did you get to see? Who did you tweet at the other day, Mark?
It was in DMs, but I just said because Texas was totally out of power. And I said some nice things about my like favorite game composer, Andrew Holschult, and I just sent him my video. I was like, hey, if you want something to watch, I'd like compliment you a few times in this one. And he messaged me back and said that he loved my video. So I was like, oh man, Senpai noticed me huge that time.
That's awesome. It is a great video. So if we can, I can drop it in the chat really quick. So
he probably subscribed to Geeks and Gamers because of that, and then the next video he saw was just Larson Red.
He's probably like, nah, fuck this channel.
I just like often will say, my friends will be like, hey man, like I wanted to subscribe to the channel you work for, but just like all the entertainment drama news, like I want to see like your game reviews. Where can I go with that? So on my channel, there's a Mark's Geeks and Gamers video playlist that I just post everything I do from Geeks and Gamers on there. But I don't imagine that's going to be valuable information for anyone here because I'm assuming you're all subscribed. If not, subscribe to Geeks and Gamers.
72% of my viewers are not subscribed, actually. Well, this month, yeah, that's how it's been. But that just means that's how many people just clicked on it and didn't like me, Mark. How disappointing is that?
Well, it could be some people hate watching you, though.
He's definitely getting a lot of that. My
content's not very controversial. There's definitely people that watch your videos so that they can argue about them on Twitter. And like, I don't know. I'm not at that level yet. I just kind of make apolitical gaming content.
You should make another Cyberpunk video and just title it "Why You Should Love Cyberpunk 2077." All hail CDPR.
I did watch somebody, I forget the guy's name, but he was a bigger YouTuber's review of Cyberpunk where he compared every aspect of the game to Witcher 3 and sort of proved that like if people think Witcher 3 is a good RPG, almost every RPG element is better in Cyberpunk. And I didn't really, honestly, I probably would have easily told you that Witcher 3 is a better role-playing game, but he makes some compelling arguments about it, while also, the way I like to say my video does, not being dishonest at all about the game's problems. Because the game has a lot of problems and you shouldn't play it until like November. I want to be very clear about that before people start saying I'm shilling the game. Don't buy it. Return it if you did buy it. How about that?
One of my favorite... You should make videos like this guy, Mark. Michael Does Life.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. I hate that guy. No,
yeah,
I had sent this guy's videos. No, my God, he's a fucking meth head.
He's just.
This is the antithesis of everything I want to do on YouTube. Like the absolute opposite. Like I do scripted videos where my face isn't in so that people are actually focusing on the information I'm presenting and the gameplay that I captured myself. This guy does unscripted videos where he just talks like an R slur while probably tweaking on some kind of amphetamine and like making just absolutely inane points that are backed up by absolutely nothing.
God damn it. I love Mark.
I say I'm non-controversial, but Michael Does Life, you suck. You fucking suck.
But the funny thing is he's just trolling everybody.
Oh, okay.
Like,
well, then it worked on me, I guess. I still wouldn't do that. That's like saying, well, I mean, I don't actually
look
like
at these
porn.
videos. So he gets the shit retweeted and people attack him, right? But look at these. This is don't buy Ghost of Tsushima. Next video, you should buy Ghost of Tsushima. Next video, you shouldn't buy Ghost of Tsushima. He's just fucking with everyone. And every single one of his videos is ratioed to hell. Every single one.
Well, yeah,
but he's getting views from them.
That's a thing you could do, but it sort of reminds me of the Joseph Joestar meme that like next you'll say I was only pretending to be retarded.
No, look at this. Don't
Wait a minute. Did you said R?
Yeah, we're saying it now. Apparently. I was quoting a meme. To be fair.
Look at this. Don't buy
also, I'm
PlayStation
disabled.
5. Look at. Don't buy PlayStation 5. Don't buy PlayStation 5. Serious. Don't buy PlayStation 5.
No, yeah, it's yeah. Like I mean, again, it's like at a certain you'd be like, oh yeah, this guy's just a troll. It's funny, but like at a certain point, you could be like, oh, I'm not a porn star. I just do my OnlyFans to be funny. And it's like, well, okay.
This same dude.
This guy This guy looks like this. Probably got more views on this video, one of his 5 that say "Don't buy Cyberpunk," than your channel's gotten.
Yeah,
ever.
Probably. And yeah, that's
the YouTube. That's YouTube for you right there.
Well, I mean, it's why honestly I would like to die an unsuccessful YouTuber so long as I'm proud of the work that I do. It's why I'm still a full-time soldier in the Canadian military.
He's got a lot of positive ones now.
Yeah, honestly, if I was making enough money that I could switch to the reserves and just be more serious about YouTube, I would. But if I have to make stuff like this, I will never, ever do that.
These are all the reason it's because he's just hating Cyberpunk. That's why these are positive.
One of his tweets blew up on like the first 24 hours of Cyberpunk.
It's this
one of his
one.
tweets. Is it that one? The quality one. Yeah, everyone was using this in their videos and stuff.
His was the one that was going around that was like the things were like the textures were taking 15 seconds to load the cop and everything. Yeah, it was his. No one took it seriously because it was his because he's a troll, but it was actually real. Yeah. So, you know, Lisa, what have you been playing?
Not much. Near Automata, which is fucking amazing. I hate myself for not playing it earlier. And Warzone on stream. I haven't really been playing a whole lot this week, actually. But yeah, Neo Automata.
Still on Route A?
Yeah. I'm playing it all on stream.
Cool.
Naaman says 26 videos about Cyberpunk. Get on my level. That's what I say. JTR2312 for $2. Plan 1, buy a Switch. 2, beat Theory first try. It's wouldn't be too tough, probably.
Not too tough.
Blue-eyed Scorpio for $2 for Mark the Arsler.
Does that mean you guys are going to send me the $2 from that super channel? How does that work? Is that a
we'd have to convert it to Canadian. Then
just give it to me in Bitcoin.
0.0000001 Bitcoin.
It adds up. In the last 2 months, I've made $500 on Bitcoin.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's considering it's been up like fucking 40%. I guess it's not very impressive, but it's still
nice.
I
mean, it's not nothing though. I was actually pretty impressed. Every time I kept checking, I was like, oh, it's up another $20.
Nathaniel Robinson for 5. Joseph Joestar is the best JoJo.
That's absolutely true.
Andrew Jones for £5. Hashtag I stand with Bree. What happened?
What did she do?
I just
Nothing.
You just support Bree.
All right, guys. Thank you for being here. It's been a long stream. Oh, we need to send you somewhere. We need to send you to Jay.
Park
Hoppin's live. I think that's the link right there because I copied it earlier.
I'll drop one.
Yeah, I just put the link in chat for Park Hoppin. Please go there while they're still live.
Just to make sure he put the right one. I'll share it again.
I know they'd want to have you guys in there. All right, let's see. And that I think we gotta end it with
Fade in.
we can't just end it like that because that's not enough time for me to fucking click something.
We should
But,
get Krista to ADR the word out and then just put it over.
They,
Fade.
they did say fade out. She did say fade out at one point during that.
Oh,
that
seriously?
meeting. Yeah. So, but thank you guys. Go check out Park Hoppin'. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Hooroo.